challenge map.
Okay, yeah, the bar is not very high for fuck ups. Although, to be fair, the very first one had to be put up in 3 parts because OBS broke. Apparently twice, but it actually only disabled it completely when it broke the second time. Which is why it's up in 3 parts and not 2. Go fucking
Everyone
figure.
had. Every one of us had problems last session.
That is true, that it was a bit of a mess getting everyone together in the first place.
And even then we didn't because I had to leave.
That's also true.
Okay.
But that's fine because now we get to have a second adventure with you. It's not going to be a long one, and
Yes.
it should just be quite fun, and you might win some money.
Hooray.
It's just always a good time.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I'm just lucky the vacation I had fell right in between this.
That's very good.
Here we go. The Twitter has been told. I'm alive doing shit. Bow, 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 bow. Doing the obligatory post all this shit to all the places that I know.
Considering Twitch has been pretty poor in doing that automatically lately.
Yeah, fucking exactly. So, I make sure to just tell people who I figure will probably watch it because I know that everything's just gonna fucking break anyway.
Yeah.
So, testing there, testing there. Good, everything looks like it's working.
Yep, my pop-out chat shows the test worked.
Fantastic. Are you ready to begin, sir?
I am very ready.
Excellent. It has been a long time coming, and without any further
Yes, it
ado, we
has.
will jump right on in. So,
Yeah.
when first we began, we learned about what the Shadowkind are, and what the hell everyone is doing in Ireland. Turns out that most of you all live there, and you were all looking for work, and so you accepted the very first job that was thrown at you by some crazy-looking druid guy. And to be fair, most of that party is human, and they have at least a vaguely legitimate upbringing, but that wasn't the case for our mysterious, sadly missing 4th player. He was held up. Not only was he the last person to receive his job, but on his way out of Dublin, he caught a later bus than he expected. And we're about to find out just what held him up. You see, September of 2010 was not too long of a time away from when the Pokemon World Championships were coming up. And there happened to be a qualifier in Dublin.
Nice use of paper plate.
And Dirk, with his particularly specialised skill set, he came out of the clink, if I remember correctly. Not very
Yes, he
long
did.
out of the clink indeed, and he was recommended the job, but he knew he had at least a bit of time before he had to show up. Assuming he can count to 7, he knows this to show up in vaguely somewhere around 7 days' time. I say assuming because it's not an unfair assumption to say maybe he can't, because Dirk is definitely not the most intelligent gentleman. Or the
I
most
think
gentle
humans
gentleman.
count to 10.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he can get to 7. He can get a week. It's as many as this many days, and then you have to hold up a number of things on your hands that you can't see me doing because I don't have a camera live for this.
Just, well.
Just as well. Okay. So, you have your options available to you. You could have gone straight to this location. But,
Boring.
But yeah, exactly. You know you have this many fingers on a hand's worth of days to get there. And frankly, you know that you were told that the others will probably get started without you anyway. And you know what? There's probably just as much money in letting them do all the thinky parts than just you turning up to punch stuff later, as there is to go help them with the thinky parts, which would be kind of difficult for you.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting how it worked out in that the 3 players we had available were the ones who are particularly more leaned towards an investigatory role.
Me, I just punch stuff.
Yeah, Dirk is nothing if not a survivor, however. And money was your main cause for finding the job in the first place. And finding out that there's a qualifier for one of the few things of technological advancement that you truly enjoy.
Indeed.
Exactly, probably too much to pass up. So, there's a game centre in Dublin, and you had the location made available to you. So you planned to hop a bus and get straight to these qualifiers. Because that would be awesome. You could get so much more money out of Pokemon than, Shadowkind stuff. Everyone knows esports is on the rise, I hear. It's 2010, who knows how popular Pokemon esports could get. They might even have their own fighting game in 6 years.
Who knows?
Exactly.
Who the hell knows?
Japan probably knows. You've heard of Japan, Dirk the Orc, but you've never been there. I'm sure one day you'd love to go there.
Yeah.
So you hop on a bus. But you're not quite as lucky as you would have hoped, because when you get on this bus, where do you sit on the bus? What's your preference?
In the back.
Way at the back? Okay, then.
Way in the back.
Alright then, as you sort of shuffle your way in the back, I mean, like, Dirk is a big, broad dude, right? Can you describe him for me, please?
He's overly muscular, definitely standing 2 meters tall, whichever that is in
About
American units. Yeah. It's about... So it's 6.5, actually.
I thought 2.1 meters is 7 foot.
He's 2 meters exactly.
Oh,
6.5.
he's 2 meters exactly. Okay, cool. 2 meters is 6.5. Oh, goodness me. All you guys and your different values. Whatever.
I know, right?
Fucking A. To be fair, I'm like 5'9", so he's still a towering man mountain compared to me.
Yeah, I'm 5'9" as well.
Yeah, there you go. We're all short as fuck. He would be head and shoulders above us, essentially. That's what we can safely say.
Yeah.
So, you're making your way to the back of the bus, and you sit down. There is someone else who's already sat at the back, but it's like those 3-person seats. So although you probably take up 2, maybe just 1.5, there's
sitting
just like
right in the center where it can be extra intimidating.
Extra intimidating. Then also someone has to squidge up because they already sat at the back, and it is a little girl with a backpack. And you can see on that backpack it's the smiling yellow face of a Pikachu. It has fake ears on it, so... you can see this girl's affiliation as well as somewhat more aimed towards your interests. Do you do anything?
He gives her a thumbs up.
She's... can you make a flat charisma roll for me? I want to see if you play off big dumb idiot or you just simply scare her.
Right.
It'll just be raw charisma. You're not actually trying to get anything out of this, I imagine. So it'll just be more how this person reacts to you. She gets up and moves to another chair quite quickly. But hey, you have the back seat, which is all entirely to yourself. What are you carrying on your person?
My big, huge backpack holding all my stuff that...
Is it?
I just carry all that with me.
So like life in a travel bag.
Basically.
Okay, excellent. The bus goes on for 2 stops. It's about 4 away until you can, make it to a quick walk to the game center.
Clearly counting on my fingers.
Yes, it's this many of stops away, and I held up 4 fingers.
Of course.
Can you make a perception check for me, please?
A moment. I can't remember what that is.
It will be
I'm still getting used to all this.
It will be a spot check on your sheet. I don't know.
But okay, which
On a character sheet, I believe it is spot.
I totally just wrote my own character sheet. So.
That's fine then. It is a wisdom skill check.
Okay, that I can do.
Yeah, probably a -1, unless you've got any training in it.
No,
Which you might do.
it's a flat 0. So. Int is my only -1.
Oh, I'll be damned. Well done.
Yeah.
Alright then, go for it.
Did it not?
Okay,
What?
a 4. That's unfortunate there. Your second 4
Oh,
of the
it
game.
is.
Yeah, the reason you're probably like, what happened, is because that's actually another 4 that you've rolled there. Okay.
Yes, I tried it. I thought it was that I
Yes.
that I doubted myself.
You are going to be caught completely unaware when the man who got on a stop ago in the thick trench coat drops the trench coat and reveals that he is holding a Molotov cocktail in one hand and a small, like, you know, it's not much of a pistol because it's quite hard to get guns, but, you know, it looks like, at the very least, a lady's handbag pistol, but any kind of bullet really fucking sucks to get shot with. The more intimidating thing is the now quite quickly smouldering Molotov cocktail in one hand. He is pointing his pistol at the bus driver and screaming at the top of his lungs, "I want you to fucking turn this bus around, get to the motorway and keep driving." And understandably, the bus driver is immediately fucking terrified by this, and is looking for a place to turn hard. And he goes right past your next stop. You didn't preempt this action at all, but it would appear that your ride is being jacked.
Oh shit.
So, what does Dirk do in this situation?
He. Not even sure.
That's-
I think he'd freeze up until an opportunity presents itself that he can really just get up and punch him.
Okay, fair enough. The Molotov
He's a
cocktail...
big guy. It's going to be hard to run up right from the back to the front.
Yeah, I mean, he does the typical thing of point the gun at the driver and then casts it across the bus at anyone who sat there, as well as you and then the little poke girl. There is a woman who you now suspect is her mother, judging by the fact that the girl is now clinging to this woman's arm crying. And you can see that there is an elderly couple in a seat a couple ahead of you, but otherwise it's quite a quiet bus because it's like late noon in Dublin.
Mm.
And it's just a city bus as opposed to a long-distance coach or anything like that.
Mm.
Why this man would be pulling it over, you can't say, especially since there's no way you had the kind of spotting necessary to see if such a man was coming down from drugs or any of that shit. To you, it's just some crazy person, for God knows what reason, is trying to steal a bus. A bus that you're on and is now going to stop you from getting to the Pokemons. I'm going to make...
I mean, to the average person, I look like a crazy person too, so...
This is fair. This is very reasonable. You've only just been out the clink as well. So it's very possible that some self-preservation in you knows that being suddenly caught up in a bus jacking after getting out of prison is probably not going to look great for you.
Clearly.
Okay. The Molotov cocktail in his hand is smouldering, but it doesn't look like it's going to either go out or need to be thrown for like another, you figure, like half a minute. It doesn't look like it's going to be a danger to him to keep in his hands for, you know, too much longer, but the bus is now turned off. You are headed towards the motorway.
Okay.
Is there anything that you would like to do? Or are you going to continue to wait and see if there's an opportunity to arrive?
I'm going to continue to wait. Seems like the best course of action for...
Okay. Just so you know, your Skype suddenly got a bit robot-y. Is your internet okay?
I thought it was.
Can someone else unmute for a second and talk just to see if it's either on my end or his?
So I'm hearing you get kind of robot-y too.
Hello, how do I sound?
A bit robot as well. Okay, I'm going to hop in and out of the call. Oh, technology, you guys. I very much apologize. Don't know why it'd be running shit. In fact, I'm going to guess that it's some bullshit like, I don't know, maybe Steam. No, it isn't. I'll be damned. Okay. And rejoining the call. Hopefully everything's fine now. Let's hear you talk some, Denny.
Okay, is that everything all right on my end?
Absolutely. Yes, everything is fixed.
Okay.
Don't know why it was being such a piece of shit, but it was. It suddenly just decided to shit itself. I've closed Steam because that might have been what was doing it. As is wont to do. So yes,
This Cthulhu rulebook on my end, just in case.
Adobe's fucking fault. Yeah, that Britain internet is terrible.
It's actually that new Microsoft browser.
Oh, of course, that makes sense. Ugh. No, I'm like
running
closing
Windows 10.
all manner of random background shit just to be sure that I've not got anything soaking up the internet. It's entirely possible that it's my roomie, but I don't know. Anyway, the bus is making its way onto a motorway. No one appears to have done anything like pull out a phone or try and call the police, which at the moment is a blessing to you, because if you can deal with this and get off the bus, then you can get away without, a problem. However, that Molotov cocktail in his hands now, something needs to be done with it. And he looks out across everyone in the bus, and you suspect he's about to throw this, judging by the way that he looks between it and the small assortment of people, and he's twitchy, and he's pale, and he's sweaty. However, his gun isn't pointed at anyone right now while he's considering this burning weapon in his hand. So, do you continue to wait it out, or are you going to make a move?
I think at this point, I got to run up and try to grab it from him and get it out of the bus.
Okay then. Let's see here. What would be the best way to go about it? He is within quote-unquote charge range, although you won't have a time to go into your bag and pull out a weapon. That's the kind of thing that makes someone draw their gun and point it at you. In this kind of situation, you can just do a bare-knuckled charging attack at him, or you can try and make some kind of skill check to maneuver away from him, because talking him down is probably not going to work for you.
Clearly. Bare-knuckled is what he's pretty good at.
Okay then. Make an attack then, please. If it's a full-on charge, you can't really get a good charge in a bus, so I'm not going to say you can do the, take away some AC and gain the attack roll. It'll actually just be run up and hit him.
Yeah.
This is where we find out if Dirk can smash.
Clearly.
Alright, roll damage. No, Dirk is not allowed to waifu the pokey girl. Okay. You clock this guy in the face, and suddenly he's too close to you to either pull a gun on you or throw the Molotov cocktail. It is, however, burning in his hands, and in a second that's going to be very bad news for everyone. Are you going to try and do something about that, or maybe human shield the rest of the people on this bus?
I think at this point, I think I can take it.
You're going to take the bottle from him? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's have a think here.
Would that be a strength?
It would be a strength or a dex check, whichever you prefer. You can either just muscle it straight out of his arms, or you can try and snatch it away.
I'm gonna muscle it.
Okay. He will make an
opposed. Are good at.
He will be making an opposed strength check at the same time. Fucking hell. All right, 6 is the number you've got to beat. Good luck. Oh Jesus. That was actually a low roll. I was going to say, that's a low roll for you. Holy shit. Okay, yeah, you rip the bottle out of his hands, and let's have a look here. I doubt Dirk has any idea of how to deal with an explosive, so your character's going to have to guess. What do you do with the bottle right now? Are you going to try and put it out without making it explode, or are you going to throw it out at something?
I think the best course of action would be throw it out an open window if there is one.
You don't see an open window. Although you're so strong, you could just open the bus door and throw it out. Yeah, and as is pointed out right now, you're in the city streets, so you're also going to have to be very careful with your timing.
Dirk probably actually wouldn't care.
Alright then. Alright, you force open the door, and you throw the bottle. Can you roll a d2 for me? Oh, lucky boy. When you throw the Molotov cocktail, it hits a lamppost, shatters, and sprays fire everywhere. But there is no one quite in range of it. There is, however, a lot of sudden screaming, and you suspect that the police are going to be somewhere nearby quite soon. Right now, the only injury appears to be a letterbox that is vaguely speeding by, although the bus driver is now pulling over as hard as he can. The guy at your feet, however, that you've taken a bottle from, is going to try and shoot you. He's actually got minus to hitting you because he's trying to shoot you from the floor while you're stood over him. I imagine that doesn't hit you.
No.
No? Okay then. The bullet just sort of goes off into the roof, and that sets more people to screaming. What are you going to do? There's still a guy there, he's still got a gun, and he's still dangerous.
I think I'm going to try to wrestle the gun away from him.
Okie dokie. Can you make a strength check, please?
Absolutely.
Ooh, okay then.
Yes.
He rolled pretty good in that one. It's a shame for him that didn't work out. You are able to get the gun out of his hands without him firing another shot off. And instead...
What?
Yeah, he could have tried to shoot you while you're taking the gun off of him. If he outrolled you, but he didn't, thankfully.
Yeah.
You get the gun out of his hand before he shoots you. Which is always good news. You're now holding a stolen man's gun after throwing a Molotov cocktail out of a bus door. What now? There is a guy on the floor, and he just shot at you, and he could have burned Poke Girl and yourself alive.
I don't even know. I think he's going to freeze up there.
The bus driver is going to look between the two of you and fucking cheese it out the door.
It's probably for the best.
Alright then. Let's go with... You can already hear sirens. A gunshot in Dublin will do that, as well as a Molotov cocktail.
I would hope so.
Yes. If you make an intelligence check, I can give you an estimate of how long it's going to be until the police are right the fuck on you. And then you have to gonna rule up, talk to the police, or fucking cheese it.
I'm probably going to have to cheese it because I'm already rolling at a -1.
Ooh, okay. Alright then. Make an intelligence check. And if you have any knowledge of the local area, you're allowed to use that as a roll to try and get the fuck out. Oh,
I don't
okay
think
then.
so, but whoa.
That's not a bad roll. It must just be an instinct whenever you hear the sounds of sirens approaching. You know that actually going right down those alleyways is a bad move. A bad, bad move. And also, so is holding the gun. So, I mean, I won't make any more suggestions for you, but your character is aware enough that right now, running down alleyways is not good. Holding a stolen gun is not good. What does Dirk do?
He's going to drop the gun and run.
Okay then. In which direction do you run? And again, if you have any knowledge checks specific to
The
Dublin.
bus was going down.
Okay, excellent. You run down the street. There looks like there's going to be someone who's going to get in your way, but you're a huge man moving very fast, and you can just barrel right past him if you want to make a quick check. I would say a strength check and just beat a 10. Yeah, that guy is not slowing you down. You fucking shunt him right by, and continue to hoof it. And it looks like you're going to be getting away with it because the police are stopping at the bus as opposed to after you. Although you can't tell why, because presumably you're not hanging around long enough to see what the end result of this situation is. No. Okay, then. Well, it's going to be a bit of a journey. You could head back to the coaches and regretfully return and take a trip down to Glendalough. Or you're 2 stops away from a Pokemon tournament.
I think Dirk could probably head to that first.
I like Dirk Star. Okay then. So, weirdly enough, you just run until you reach another bus stop. A new bus arrives and you get on it. So where do you sit on this bus?
I think I'm still going to head towards the back. He's stubborn like that.
So, you go down the bus and you sit yourself down at the back. You can see it's a much busier crowd than the last bus you were on. There are a lot of people talking on their phones and, you know, all a hubbub about apparently there was some crazy dude starting fights or doing something. You can't make out much because everyone's telling conflicting stories. But apparently, according to a little girl, the giant man saved them all. That's what you can gather, at least. Luckily, you're sat at the back of the bus and not exactly looking particularly obvious right now. So you don't draw any undue attention.
6.5 foot tall.
Yeah. So it's like if you'd sat at the front, maybe people would have been like, a really big guy on a bus, you say. But no, in this case, you're right at the back again, and it's 2 stops away from the Pokemon tournament. And now we're going to do a little bit of a skill test for your character, because when you arrive, it looks like an old... it's not so much a town hall as it probably used to be an old church hall that's been relocated since. And it's got a bunch of long sets of tables. If you've ever seen, like, you know, a games tournament room, that is what it is. There's some long tables and a bunch of chairs and people with their Game Boys and DSs, etc., etc. And there are also some card games going on other tables. Do you play the card game or do you play the handheld game?
Handheld only. I've only played the card game on handheld. Actually.
The Game Boy Color version is actually,
Yes.
It's probably one of the best Pokemon games that ever existed, so...
Oh, yes.
Fair enough. Okay, then. So, Dirk the Consistent, which is becoming your tagline there. You can pick a number and go to a table. You stand out a lot. Along these tables, there are a bunch of, you know, young kids to, like, old teens of the, like, average of age. But there are a couple who are obviously adults, you know, they're a bit greasy. Or some of them are just there with their actual kids, being supportive because being a nerd is cool. Or it's gradually becoming cool in 2010.
Yeah.
And, yeah, they're like... Are you kidding, sir? Because you do look like a horrifying, muscular, grizzled ex-con. Except, you know, you have the handheld, and they check your set list, and they can see that you've got no hacks on yours. Presumably, you don't cheat at Pokemon.
Dirk wouldn't hack. He
wouldn't know how to do that.
Wouldn't be smart enough to hack.
Fair enough. So yes, they check and they can see that you've got a legal composition for a team. So you're able to get into the game. Now then, there's a couple of ways you can actually go about winning your way through this tournament. You can try to scare some of the people that you're playing against, try and get them to drop on purpose. Or you can just try and win the game.
Fair.
You play fair at games, okay.
He plays Pokemon fair, at least.
Alright.
I'm not gonna say he's not gonna fight dirty.
Okay. So then, it's going to be a few matches to see if you get into the finals, and as you stage up, I will award flat cash for your character, and if you make it to the end, you're going to be making wealth bonus. So, first of all, a wisdom check, as opposed to an intelligence check, because at its heart, Pokemon is a game of rock, paper, scissors. You have to fake out your enemy, and you have to figure out what they're doing. I have actually made sure to watch some Pokemon tournaments just to make sure I'm not talking out of my arse. Yeah, and a lot of it appears to be reads as opposed to just knowing all of the shit. There is skill involved, of course, and there's setup involved, but a lot of it is making reads and picking the correct choice at the right time. So, it'll be wisdom checks for these games, which is good because that's apparently not even a -1 for you, so your odds aren't terrible. Because you also have the wisdom of an adult. And children naturally have negatives to wisdom because they're children.
You know, they separate the divisions between adult and kid.
They do indeed. But in this case, it's a qualifier for a World Tournament later place, so it's mostly mixed groups.
Yep, so rolling wisdom.
That's correct. Alright then. Okay, so your first match doesn't go very well, but there's still a few more, so before you would possibly get knocked out. Although if you fail by an incredibly hard margin, you're not going to get through. Alright, so your first match is against a rather mouth-breathery looking kid. You know, the one who probably got given all of the things by their parents. You know, very detestable child. In him you see the words rival. You suspect that he'll go far. So, your next opponent sits down and it is... Oh, it's actually an adult. One of the few other adults that are playing. In fact, he looks vaguely like the super nerd himself. And he'll sit down and be like, "Nyeh, aren't you a little bit old to be playing Pokemon?"
Says you.
Yeah. God, I'm still young. And then he'll play against you. So, go ahead and make your roll. This one is also flat d20. And you crush him. So you win that one. You defeat him handily.
Just to answer your question, no, he does not EV train.
He does not EV train. Oh. Yeah, go Duck go. Alright then. And he slumps away looking defeated. A bunch of people in the crowd are... you actually do attract a crowd. It's not usual for people in low-end qualifiers to attract a crowd, but you're a huge fucking dude playing Pokemon, and it apparently attracts a handful of people, and you get a little bit of a cheering section going when you beat him.
I'm pretty sure I only won because I randomly critted at the right times.
It's almost entirely possible. Alright, next one up. It is another kid, so that's good news for you. This one is a teenage girl. I would say like 13, so, you know, just barely considered teenage girl. Before anyone gets any ideas. She did not roll very high. And Pokemon does totally have some luck, it's true.
Yeah. Wouldn't be fun if it didn't.
Correct.
Well, it might be a little fun, but it's fun. It's more fun if it has random chance.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
Roll again, then?
Yep. Wisdom check. This person has got a measly 6 and another 12. It's Dirk the Consistent. Fucking lays it home again. Yeah. You give this young child an absolute thrashing at Pokemon, and she cries and goes, and you make it through the qualifiers. You have already qualified yourself for £100 of on-hand cash.
Neat.
Well done. So you can add that to your character sheet if you would like. You've made it to £100 of on-hand cash. Which is good. That will cover you for a weekend of drinking in Ireland. Yeah, people won money from playing Pokemon. Yeah, they absolutely did. It's Pokemon Worlds 2010. That was their big, like, we want to really be impressive. I say 100, the prize pool is not big. It's not massive. So you've got 2 more games for this one. And then you will have gone. Then you'll be able to get from out of groups and into semis. The mouth breather appears to have ended up in another group. If you were to look at like a tournament table, he's on the other side. So this one is. Oh, it is another adult, I'm afraid. So they've not got the negative. This one is going to be a. I say adult, it's a young adult, you know, he's 18, he's what you would consider an adult in a D&D game so that they don't have the negatives. He's just barely an adult, and he looks like he's doing okay for himself.
That's good.
Ooh, he might be doing very okay for himself. Oh no. Okay.
Not this time.
I'm afraid you are knocked out of the semis, but you walk away with £100. Well done, Dirk. And when you do leave, everyone is sad to see you lose in the end. Like, your little cheering section totally had it for Dirk the Orc.
Mm.
Is there anything that you do while you're there?
Probably. He probably played a few fun games for fun. Other than that, probably not.
Okay. As you're hanging around playing your games for fun, eventually the finals comes up and you can see your mouth breather rival made it to the end against someone. Do you want to roll for his opponent? It's just some other person. I want to see if mouth breather makes it to the end. I wonder if the bad guys really do win.
Should that be a flat?
Yeah, yeah. Mouth breather. They found out he was a cheater. He was cheating the whole time. He had fake shinies on his team, which means that he must have had them put in there by someone else. Yep, mouth breather was a cheater, and he was disqualified by halfway into the match. And the winner is a young adult female. And she seems very, very excited. Very, very tattered up, Celtish looking person. Probably the only other person who looks as different as you do from this crowd of people.
Mm.
Exactly. And when the day comes, like, it's approaching late. It's definitely late enough that all of the younger people are leaving now from playing their games. How did Bus Pokegirl do? No, Bus Pokegirl was like 7 years old. She was not in this tournament. She was just a girl on a bus who I arbitrarily decided liked Pikachu. What's with all the Celtic tattooed Irish people? Have you ever been to Dublin? That's like a trademark for hipsters there. It's just generally how they look. I'm not even kidding.
Scarf glasses in Oregon.
In this case, it's usually as you're reaching autumn, it's gonna be tank tops, overcoats, and you can usually see like the cross tats going up the neck.
Mm.
There might have been a 7-year-old league for Bus Pokegirl, but she wasn't there. She was probably quite busy after, the bus getting jacked. Actually, that tends to put a hamper on your day. So if she was headed there, it didn't happen. Her plan was altered. She's not Dirk the Obstinate. So yes, you make it out, and this girl, this winner, will come to talk to you at the end because you're one of the few adults hanging around still. And she asks you about yourself.
Mm.
She introduces herself as Keredwen. She's a university student nearby.
Dirk the Orc.
Dirk Theork. That's an interesting name. Are you from
the Orc.
Oh, the Orc. Huh. Very curious. My name is Keredwen. I'm from the university around here. I must say I'm very surprised to see you here at a tournament. You don't really look the kind. I mean, I know looks can be deceiving.
What?
Dirk is confused. She just goes, "You look like a bodybuilder, not really a Pokemon fan."
What could I say? I play Pokemon.
And lift, apparently.
Yeah.
I play Pokemon and I lift. He's a Machamp. Of course he is. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. Dirk is a Machamp.
Yeah.
In fact, I've now decided that's affectionately what she refers to you as.
He likes it.
Excellent. Yeah, she will ask if you would like to go and get some drinks, because it's still a bit early in the day and she doesn't have any exams for like another week or so.
He'll accept as graciously as he possibly can.
Excellent. All right then. Now, this is Dublin. There are a lot of places where you can go hard drinking. You know of a few. You know of course, of the fancy tavern you were at before, and you know that it is up at all hours. Although, for all you know, there's going to be some vampires hanging around at night, so maybe not the best place for university students to hang out. Everyone knows that that female university students and vampires don't mix. It's just a fact. It's factually accurate.
High school girls, maybe.
Of course. But yes, they do mix in the vampire's opinion. Yeah, that's true. But no one cares about the vampire's opinion. So I mean, there's that. There's also some thuggier ones that you know of if you want to be tough and show her a tough night on the town. Or you can let her try and suggest a place.
I think I'll let her suggest a place.
Okay, then. We'll go back to the famous 1d4 of deciding a situation. Oh, well, apparently she likes to go for a hard drinking bar. So, she says that it's a bit of a rougher place, but if you want to get a really decent whiskey, that's where you go.
Sounds good.
Alright, and she will go out drinking with you. And I'm going to make a fortitude check to see if she can actually keep her drink or not. This one, because she's a wimpy student. She doesn't do great. After like
She doesn't do terribly.
she doesn't do terribly. She didn't do Sandra levels, which means that after 2 hours of hard drinking, she's pretty sloshed. But she also isn't catatonic, which is good news. By this point, it's still only about like 11 p.m. and there's a lot of drinking left to do if you want to hang around longer. But by the end of the night, she would be catatonic. Or Dirk could be a gentleman, I don't know.
I think Dirk would be a gentleman and carry her home.
Oh, how lovely. Okay, then. When you try and get her home, you realize that she's a uni student and is staying in, like, student dorms. But when you offer to take her home, she asks if you're willing to pay for the taxi. She would love to spend more time with you.
He'll do that. Adam, no.
Can you also please make a flat charisma check for me, please? Apparently she's actually quite into you. It might be that muscles are her thing.
Cool.
If Dirk plays his cards right, he could enjoy a more in-depth night with this lady. Does Dirk do so?
Yes.
Well then, okay. We're going to roll for sexual prowess. Have you got a dexterity modifier?
He does, actually.
Alright, go for it. No roll for whiskey dick? No, when you're an orc, you don't need to roll for whiskey dick. Okay, so you apparently aren't the best at that, but apparently prison will do that to some people. Still, I mean, it's okay. You can keep at it because you've got the fortitude necessary to keep at it. And it takes a while before she gets hers, so to speak. We'll keep it nice and clean. A pregnancy check. I don't know, does Dirk wrap it up?
I'm not sure if he does.
Okay then.
It depends on if she has the.
Oh, she apparently she's not too drunk to help you bag it before you tag it.
Yeah.
Always play safe, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Yes, there's a good point there with the pregnancy checks. Because if she didn't, then I'd have to make a bunch of rolls for you. One's like, maybe she isn't the cleanest Celtic hipster student.
She.
Yes.
Somehow she carries magnums on her.
No, have you seen those things inflate? You don't really need them, or do you? Oh wait, how much is Dirk rocking?
I have no idea. I didn't think of that beforehand. I'm gonna say 10.
Fucking oh Jesus Christ! Okay, so I mean you should have had an extra modifier on your roll, frankly, because size may not be everything, but it's certainly a deciding factor. Jesus Christ, 10. Okay. It breaks. Okay. She's clean. Good start. In fact, I want you to make this d20 check. Let's find out just how potent Dirk is.
What should I be rolling
A
here?
flat d20.
Okay.
Okay, you're alright. It wasn't. Essentially, I could have asked you to do it with a 1d4, but I like big numbers more. It wouldn't. 1 to 5 would be miserable. Why not roll like 70? Because I can't be asked. It's so not a frequent feature. Yes. So I mean, that was. Yeah, I mean, if it was something that would come up a lot of times, I would probably implement actual, like, you know, pregnancy rules and roles like that. But I would rather hand wave over that stuff unless it becomes a more frequent thing. In which case, I will then institute some kind of home ruling to it.
Right.
Instead, I'm using a gradient scale on, like, how good are they, etc., etc. Is that a 7D dexterity score right there? What the fuck is that? I don't know why you rolled all of those dice at once. Oh, you fucking up a dick length roll. Well played. Well played. Fantastic. Yeah, rolling for size is also quite funny, actually. I think that is one of the more hilarious things. 2d6 plus con in centimeters is how it's generated. It's amazing. If you're oh god, it's a constitution. No wonder Dirk has got it going for him. Then it's a constitution modifier. Oh Jesus! All right, congratulations, Dr. Jonathan D. Hunter is doing pretty fucking well for himself, apparently. Poor Sandra, if she was male. Exactly. So then. Your night apparently goes really fucking well, and you are treated to I wouldn't say a great breakfast. It's student food, so you get like a Rustler's burger, which you put in a microwave for 2 minutes, and it resembles food. That's fine. Everyone who's a student lives exactly like Jonathan D. Hunter lives. They do better. I suppose they do, just about. Yes, student loans are pretty good. Sure, Jesus can turn water into wine, but a student can turn a student loan into vodka. So, yes, you get through your night, you have yourself a fun time. She is understandably not in great condition the following morning. She is mostly surprised, I think, that went the way it did.
I would think so.
And she gives you her number. Dirk has a phone, doesn't he?
Yeah, it ain't a smartphone, but it gets the job done.
Yep, sure. She gives you her number. So if you would like on your character sheet, you can add that as a contact, because it's always helpful to have contacts in this game. I'm not going to do anything like circles, rolls, or anything like that, but knowing people to talk to is always useful. So it's Keredwen, or one of the spellings of it, because it's got like fucking 30 different spellings. There are so many different ways to spell Keredwen.
Okay. Fancy Irish names.
Yeah, it's got like some of the other ones have like H's and Y's and A's in it. It's just a nonsense. But yeah, okay. So I mean, Dirk the Orc, you had a good time. You made 100 quid. I'll say you spent 25 of it over that night then, because you had drinks and a taxi. But thankfully you went to a hard drinking cheapo pub. Otherwise, so I didn't take much money away from you for that. And yeah, you had yourself a fantastic time. Got a girl's number, which is probably not exactly what Dirk expected would happen after turning up at a Pokemon tournament. And you didn't get rearrested. Yes, exactly. So you didn't get rearrested as well, which is always a good sign. And you're going to be able to get a new coach out down to Glendalough. Presumably, you who amongst the other three has a phone, by the way, out of Sandra, Jonathan, and Simon? Because I know one of them is phoneless. I'm pretty sure that's Jonathan. The other two have phones. Okay then. So either Sandra or Simon, you'll have their number to text, and you'll be able to let them know that you are going to be able to approach. That's right. Jonathan's doesn't exist because it fell in a loo.
And he can't replace it because he's dirt poor.
Yes, he's too poor to get on your phone. All right, cool. So, Sandra, you get a text from... How good is Dirk at texting?
He's got big, meaty fingers, and the buttons are kind of small.
Okay, then. So, you get a predictive text-alterated text message that basically, you can gather, means, you know, I'll be there, like, halfway through the day. You could attempt
About
credit
right.
card fraud to go with the Russian spy fraud. Oh yeah, I need to roll a dice at the beginning of this session, because right now we're into the time when everyone else is going to be able to jump right in. Let's see here. In fact, I don't know that I want to do this one on stream, so let's grab these dice here. Okay. So, when the woman wakes up, she remembers the entire events with perfect clarity. She, however, is shit-fucking terrified, and apparently no one else notices. So, she doesn't tell anyone. You get out of it, okay, yes. I don't want to always involve doing rolls off of screen. I will never do an off-screen roll for anything combat-related, I make that promise now. But for the events of just things happening in the background of the world, I will totally do on my end. But there we have it. So, yes, she remembered the events of the previous day with perfect clarity, but she was terrified and no one noticed she was terrified. So, if someone had brought it up, she might have involved the police, and I would have had to make another dice roll to see if that happens. But apparently not, so she just lives in fear for that day. And doesn't tell anyone. Did I roll that last session? I can't remember. I know that I rolled for if she did anything that day, but I think I had to do a wrap-up one. Crunching them packets. Tisk, tisk. There we go. Okay, so then, is everybody else here and in the call and ready to play?
I believe so.
I'm here.
Yay. And Mers?
I'm here.
Yay.
I'm muted a bit until people go to bed.
That's fine. Just unmute whenever talking needs to happen, and we'll play it by ear that way. So yes, everyone is here, and we are able to move on to the main portion of the show. It is afternoon in Glendalough when a familiar coach comes up alongside the Chilean Fionn, and stepping off from the very back of that bus is the towering, hulking figure of Dirk. And now I'm going to leave it to you guys to interact amongst yourselves, because it's likely you saw each other at the pub. You probably didn't spend much time in that same location, so go right ahead.
So it's fair to say that an orc is definitely recognizable, yeah?
Recognizable to people who recognize the Shadow Kind.
Is-
Anyone else would think,
Yeah.
this fucking dude is meat.
So Jonathan would walk up to Dirk and say, "Ah, Mr. Theork, I'm glad to see that you've arrived," and offer his hand.
Orc.
Jonathan will look around and then drop his voice to a whisper, constantly looking around and then completely stopping if someone approaches. Look, Dirk, we all know that you're an orc. Nobody else needs to know. So I'm going to call you Mr. Theork. I've told some other people that you're Mr. Theork. Please call yourself Mr. Theork, because Mr. the Orc is frankly a fucking stupid name.
Dirk, from experience, you know that no one calls you on this shit. This guy's probably very paranoid.
I'll just go along with the crazy man.
Dirk is immediately cowed. Yeah, I should add, when people interact with the Shadow Kind, it's that typical people, since they don't want to believe in it, will usually hand-wave away a lot of things. Like, the brain will naturally assess, like, oh, I'm just seeing something a little abnormal. This can't be some kind of magical thing that's crazy. It doesn't exist. People's willingness to disbelieve will allow them to hand-wave a lot of weirdity.
I'm sure that that's true, but
Yes,
someone
to
going around
Jonathan.
saying, I'm the orc, that's not going to be covered, okay?
He's obviously saying his own name. It happens all the time.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Um,
So, yeah, does
So-
anyone else introduce themselves?
yes, Sandra does. She comes up and probably introduces her like, yeah, definitely introduce. Hello, I'm Sandra Ruth. And
Nice to meet you.
I will lean in, probably not looking around, like obviously, just lean in and ask at a low tone. You do remember why we're here, yes?
Vaguely.
Good enough for me.
Solid.
I'm here to earn money.
I'm sorry. What took you so long to catch up to us? Or is it like, I don't know, what happened with you?
I got into a Pokemon tournament and then got laid.
I'm sorry, you did what?
I met a girl.
Good job, bro.
I was just staring at him blankly, like, that is just crazy.
He could have just got away with it, be like, I was in a bus jacking. Instead.
He's gonna choose to ignore that.
He's obviously talking about the most important
The
thing.
most important part of the day. Pokemon tournament and getting laid.
He's gonna refuse to acknowledge that happened just so he doesn't get arrested again.
Okay, Mr. Theork, you can pick one of those, either having sex or attending a Pokemon tournament, and I will not give you any shit about that, because that's clearly important to you. Because you would only allow yourself to be delayed for meaningful employment for something actually meaningful. So pick one of those.
I
Right now.
crushed the Pokemon tournament.
Okay. So, for you, the most important thing is Pokemon.
You're gonna have to mute for a while because that is so noisy in the background that it's actually drowning you out. I can actually hear the TV so clearly. Like, it was very hard to hear you over the sound of.
I'm sorry, my mic gain has gone up a lot. I'll quickly turn it down.
Cheers. Because it's just it was hardcore. It sounded normal earlier on, and now for some reason it was just way out of control.
How's this?
More manageable. I think it's just more that the TV is loud.
I can try switching over to my other mic.
No, it's okay. All right. So yeah, you got laid and you played Pokemon. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right then. So for the rest of the party, we will do a quick recap of the previous events because while Dirk the Orc was getting paid and getting laid at the same time, they were investigating the mysteries. It was a good day. It was a good day. I like the comment in the chat, which is the Dr. Hunter party rolls to disbelieve. That's fantastic. Yes, the party arrived in Glendalough a day early. Well, they arrived a bunch earlier, and they knew Dirk would arrive later in the week, and then he was another day later than that. In the meantime, they were to use that opportunity to explore around, and they did so quite successfully. They found out that a group of hikers, the ones that they had heard gone missing, went to most likely a particular spot, and then you were warned about areas that wouldn't be good to go into, like the bogs. There was some guy chatting some weird, dumb stories about mystical things happening in the middle of the parks, which you guys know might not just be dumb bullshit, because weird stuff happens in the parks might actually be a real event, because Shadowkind. While you were exploring, you had a grand old time in the pub, learned a bit more information, and inspected a suitcase that literally in the course of overnight, someone who very well might have been staying there, since there was no evidence of a break-in from the outside of the hostel, someone broke into a suitcase, or attempted to break into a suitcase, and you now know that there is some kind of secret group. And then also, in the course of speaking just a little bit too loudly about the crazy Shadowkind shit, had to terrify an old lady with talks of being members of Russian Secret Service. Am I forgetting anything? I think that's all that happened.
We picked up the Jesus Chains and Lovecraftian page.
That's right. Yes, there was a like a vaguely damaged bottle. There was a cracked bottle of oil or something in the bag, and it had ruined a page that was nestled in between a copy of the Lovecraft collection novel Necronomicon, and not the one written by Abdul Azad, the mad Arab. That's not what was in there. But this page, you're still waiting.
It was a valid question.
It was a
okay?
valid question. You're right. You're playing Urban
was.
Arcana. It was a very valid question. No, it was the Lovecraftian collectible book. And the page, you're still waiting for it to dry because it was quite damaged by the oils that were poured into the bag. But because it was oil and not water, you posit that you're going to have pretty good odds of reading at least some of it by the end of this. You just have to be very careful with it later. And also, yes, you stole a fist-sized silver cross that, if you pawn it later, is enough for everyone to get a wealth bonus, which is always nice. Even Dirk, if you choose to tell him about it. After hearing that he went and played Pokemon and got laid, maybe you don't want to anymore. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's actually how that would work out for you anymore, but it's all about the spirit of things.
Yeah, we can wait. We can wait to pawn it anyway.
That's very true. You don't have to rush to pawn it. Indeed, I imagine that stealing something out of a bag and then trying to pawn it in the exact same town is probably not a strong maneuver.
No.
Yeah.
At the very least, we need to see if the hopefully totally not werewolves would like it back.
That's a very good point, yes. I like that you've gone for hopefully totally not werewolves as your first protocol.
Well, I mean,
Odds are pretty high.
look at everything we found.
It's true, yes. It's very true. I led the nose a bit. It's very possible that there are werewolves involved. If your character is playing on that assumption, you can totally do a bit of research towards that grounds. Like try and find out anything you might know about anything kind of werewolfy in this location.
Are we gonna relate any of this to like Dirk? Like anything we found? Are we gonna?
I
think it's at your
would assume
discretion.
We were relaying everything we found to Dirk. This time somewhere actually private, and not
not in the lobby.
yeah, not in the lobby when we've vaguely waved at someone to go into an adjoining room and never actually made sure they went in.
Correct. Yes. Certainly not going to talk in an easily avoidable situation. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
After what happened last time, yep.
Okay, great. Yeah.
There are a finite number of spy agencies I can claim we're affiliated with.
The number grows ever more finite with your ability to fake it as well. Good job, Mr. FSB.
I would like to say, Jonathan doesn't actually have Russian as a language he can write, so
No.
that forgery roll was including his ability to make something that looked reasonably Russian.
Yeah, it looked about as Russian as just, when you can see, like, warning symbols that are in vaguely acrylic-looking letters. I will make it so that if anyone ever tries to translate it, it means fucking nothing. Like, is it even possible that you know any actual singular written word in Russian? Because I see Russian relatively often and my brain still can't, like, commit a word of it to memory as it's written.
It's possible that Jonathan knows the Russian word for highly radioactive.
Okay, cool.
He's a doctor. He might have had to deal with, like, X-ray machines.
That's very true.
Reading
Okay.
up on Chernobyl.
Yeah, just, for fun. I know the words Dovai and Suka.
All I know is that Dirk does speak and write Orc as first language.
This is totally Russian, and it's just fucking orc scratchings. I haven't decided what the Orcish language looks like, but I imagine it possibly looks quite a bit like Russian, because it's a lot of hard, like, very sharp diagonals. So you might have gotten away with it, I don't know. Maybe you wrote something mean about people in Orcish, and you were like, this is Russian, right? It's like, you said what about my mother?
Well, hopefully Dirk will never see that.
Yeah.
According to the manual, it's related to Dwarvish.
Oh, okay. Well, then Dwarf should probably be very straight angle runes, whereas I will say Orcish is like diagonal runes as opposed to that. But otherwise, they're quite similar. Keep that in mind if ever you need to read anything written in Dwarvish or Orcish, and see if you can halfway in between them. I know that int isn't his specialty though, so that wouldn't be very easy. So, there are a number of ways to get towards to get to the national park. You've got a general location where you could start, and a general location where they might have actually gone missing from their base camp. Or you can try and learn a little bit more in the town.
Yeah. We've followed up most things to a reasonable point at which we can't follow it up further. I think the only two major places we can continue looking is at that store attendant that Sandra spoke to, and with actually heading into where they disappeared. So, does anyone have any preferences?
My preference would actually be going to the going out, going to where they probably went to and disappeared.
I second that. It's been 2 weeks since they've seen. It's probably logical that they're getting low on supplies and all that, and we probably should go find them.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to push ahead until you've all agreed and you say that you want to go do the thing. Although I'm happy to lead you, I'm not going to handhold you. So, do you go do that?
Dirk
That's
won't
two
take
votes
place
in
in-
the favor of going. Sorry, Dirk.
Dirk's just gonna go with the group here. Whatever they decide, he's not gonna vote at all. He's too stupid.
Dirk the obstinate is also Dirk the easygoing.
Well, Jonathan is happy either way as well, so I guess we're heading out.
Okay then. Let's see. Do I have a pretty picture for you all? I do. Look at this. Look at that.
It's a beautiful field.
It is. This is
No trees.
with no
whatsoever.
exactly. This is what you're going to be looking at for the first couple of hours when you're getting into the park itself, because there's a lot of it's a lot of flat land and a lot of marshland, and then suddenly what looks like in the distance a hill is more like a sheer cliff leading into water and all of that shit, like a lake,
Oh.
bogs and trees and stuff like that.
Oh.
Someone needs to write down a recipe, by the way.
Sorry, I muted my mic.
I just vaguely had I don't know why I understood those words very clearly when the other ones didn't strike me so fast. Fair enough, whatever. Okay, I'm just doing nameplates there. Does anyone do anything on this journey? It's going to be a couple of hours of walking, at the very least a couple of hours, unless you go at a particularly hard pace.
Jonathan is, before we all head out, going to get his large overcoat and actually wear that.
Okay. Man, it's amazing how loud they have their TV in the background. Okay, so yeah, as I've mentioned before, the weather, it's an unseasonably warm autumn. Autumn in Ireland is generally considered cold as shit. So, but in this case, it's been warm enough that eventually that overcoat's gonna get a little bit uncomfortable on you, but it's probably worth having anyway. Especially since nighttime will probably be very fucking cold, and wind chill on the marshy part, at the very least, is going to be a little bit mean. I think before I covered what kind of animals you might see, there's like, at best you're going to see some game along the way, like, hares and that kind of thing.
Sheep.
On this
Yeah.
portion, you can probably see like a couple of herds of them moving around, but none moving alone.
Okay. No man-eating sheep. Okay.
Yeah, there's also there are no dire goats.
I would like to add that my character, like, I assume we had time to go back.
Yeah, of
like,
course.
and get supplies.
Yeah,
Okay,
if
'cause
you
my
wanted
character-
to tool up and stuff. That's absolutely right.
Yeah,
So,
my
yeah,
character-
what supplies did everyone bring then, if that's the case?
And of course, Dirk always has his backpack, which holds a second backpack in case the other backpack gets too full.
It starts putting stuff in the second backpack while it's still in the first backpack. Why isn't this
He'll
working?
take that. He can take it out eventually, I
Yeah,
think.
yes, I imagine so. It's a kind of backpack Ouroboros. Okay. Yep. I will generally not pester you about your supplies and assume that you can keep track of them while you're out and traveling. It's going to take some eating every day. It is possible to make survival checks and stuff like that to hunt for food, because there is game, there is sheep. It's not strictly legal to poach someone's sheep, but you could do it if you wanted to. You might get away with it.
If we're going to be out here for more than a day, there's going to be a serious issue.
You could do a day's journey in a day's... You could do the journey there and back in a day. You are leaving in the afternoon, so it would be a nighttime walk back.
A nighttime walk back is fine. but,
Okie dokie.
Actually staying out here for more than just a night, I'm sorry, Jonathan will starve. He's not prepared to starve to death with these hikers.
Dirk's totally fine with a nighttime walk. He can handle himself.
Okay.
Yeah, Sad just got a flashlight. She's fine.
I'll be right. I got
Dirk has night vision.
Yeah,
Dark vision, actually.
You lead in the front.
Well, look at you, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Mr. Theork is a fancy man. Oh, so thank you there to the stream chat. Just a lovely jaunt through scenic Shoggoth-infested grasslands.
Those are not actually sheep that we're seeing.
Yeah, this Sheepogoth. That's what's up right there. Okay then. Can people make for me spot checks? And someone who's feeling particularly lucky, roll me a d20 for the weather.
Who wants to do the weather check?
I'm rolling weather.
Rock and roll.
Sorry.
Okay.
Well, was good in this case.
Yeah. Not only does it. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Everyone else's spot checks as well, please.
That's a wisdom, right?
Yes.
Alright then.
Solid.
I swear, am I the only person here with a positive wisdom modifier?
I have a flat one, so no.
Yeah. Okay. So while you're out traveling, that roll of a 2, it doesn't just mean that it's heavy rain. It means that it's heavy rain you weren't prepared for, which in this context means it probably looked quite nice when you first left. And then the wind.
Bog waders. So
Yep,
I'm
you've
fine.
got bog waders. That's good. Jonathan owns an umbrella.
Dirk just simply chooses to not care.
Okay, excellent. So, it's going to take you longer getting to the destination on the edge of the cliffs. And while you're traveling, Sandra and Jonathan don't really spot anything to this ideal, but Dirk, Simon, you see like a 4x4 Jeep at one point, just like through the rain. It's a bit of a tough pier. You notice a 4x4 Jeep is travelling generally the path that you're going on, which, although you can see that there are old tyre tracks and stuff, it's generally considered a footpath. And there's a little sign that's like, this is a footpath. That's what it says there. But there is a
Dirk
Jeep
needs
that
that
is
sign.
up ahead. Yeah.
hold on. If
Dirk
it's
would not
weather
know otherwise than
that's
a foot.
this bad and we're heading for some cliff sides, Jonathan would actually raise an issue with that and say, look, if we're heading for cliffs, we're going to fall off.
It's not just a sheer drop.
I mean, he's never been there before, so it's not like he knows that.
Reasonable. Okay then.
Uh,
Yeah, and what does the party do about that? Yes. So you tie yourselves together. Reasonable response right there. I like that plan.
Well, as far as we all are.
Do you have any rope?
Dirk has so much rope.
I don't have rope. I have duct tape. That probably won't work though.
Duct tape can do
I
everything.
have a medical kit. It's not rope, so...
Does Dirk volunteer his rope?
Dirk will volunteer his rope.
Reveals that he's carrying 100 feet of fucking rope.
150 feet.
150 feet of
A lot
rope.
of rope to
That's
have
so
there.
much rope.
It is. That's what it was labeled as a thing, so I picked it up. I was like, hey, this could be useful.
Rope for days.
So much rope.
Literally.
Yeah, okay then.
And
I would
I-
normally say that is a frankly unnecessary amount of rope. But you are the only one of us who has rope, Dirk, so thank you.
Actually, I think I have 50 feet of rope as well. I'm not sure if I would have actually brought it.
Oh, okay.
I haven't actually checked the rules.
No, that's
Dirk can
okay.
carry it. He's good.
Dirk is all set.
Much rope.
He also has bolt cutters. We need that.
Oh, yeah. Also, Sandra has bolt cutters as well.
Dude, no one wants to leave without their at least 50 feet of rope, bolt cutters, and some duct tape. That's just Adventurers 101.
I got the lock pick just in case. But...
I decided Dirk wouldn't be smart enough to hold duct tape, but he would be smart enough to hold bolt cutters.
Absolutely. Okay, great. So, yeah, you spot a jeep moving up ahead. There's nothing particularly stand out about it, especially since it's quite hard to tell through the heavy rain. So far as I'm aware, dark vision doesn't give you the ability to see long distances in heavy rain. Although it definitely helps to pick up, like, heat and stuff, because when there's this much heavy rain, it does make vision quite a challenge. Dark vision is infrasion. It is infrasion, yes. Which means that you can pick up heat generally, but also, again, heavy rain is going to actually make life a lot harder. Because rain has a temperature. So, eventually though, you make it to a location that you imagine would be quite scenic if it weren't fucking shit pissing it.
I'd like to actually, clarify that dark vision is actually black and white regular vision, really. But you can see in the dark. Up to 60
That's
feet, I
all?
think it was.
I thought that dark vision was infrasion, which is a spectrum.
It said in the thing.
That's just black and white.
Thing
Okay,
that was-
cool.
Yeah.
That's good then. That's the magic of supernatural dark vision, I suppose. In a lot of cases, it's
Yeah.
infrasion. But yes, eventually, as you like crest the hill, you can just see that there are admittedly a couple of sheer drops, but they're sheer drops down onto trees, and you can see below you is a rather scenic lake that right now is full of churning waters. There are some fields, and there are some very miserable-looking herds of sheep.
Aww.
Along the other side are some goats. I need to grab some Yeah, exactly. Grab some character tokes again, as you do. Yeah, rope only comes in 150 feet, but that doesn't mean you can't just cut off 50 feet to keep with you. There we go. So yes, you are like if you imagine that down like the bottom left corner of this map here, it's a like that's literally like the crest of a cliff, and you can look down into this valley essentially. It's very beautiful and scenic. Not far from where you are right now is where people would commonly start to camp. Out in this weather, you don't detect anything along the lines of people in tents and shit like that. Poor Dr. Jonathan Hunter. Duct tape is DC4. If you bought a small roll of duct tape, then you would run out of buying power to eat food regularly.
Even the McMuffins would cease to.
Yeah, you'd have to burn buying power every time you needed to eat if you did that. Which is an incredible feature.
So every single day. That's not a good thing.
Muck faster, I hear banjos. Okay. Alright. Oh, so where do you go to? You suspect that down the valley, you could scale that cliff if you really wanted to get down the valley and towards the bogs that are further on. Or you can try and travel towards where the camping location is. When you arrive, it was already kind of dark thanks to stormy weather. It's now a decent amount darker. You posit that it's about 4 p.m. right now.
I was about to say, is it 4?
Yep.
Yep.
I don't think it'd be a smart idea going down a cliff in this weather. I think we should probably just go to the camping grounds.
Pardon? I didn't catch that properly, sorry.
I said it's probably not a good idea to go down the cliffs in this heavy rain. So we should probably just go onto the camping grounds. Follow the path that we've been on.
That sounds like a good idea.
Alright then. Okay.
Yes, it's almost like I said earlier, but cliffs in this weather would be a bad idea.
Yes, Jonathan,
They are.
No one listens to Jonathan Hunter. No one listens to old crazy Dr. D. Alright, it is like another... It's not exactly an easy hike, because it's still shit pissing it down thanks to someone rolling a 2. Even towards what should be like the easier hiking area. There is a clearing in the midst of these cliffs that you can see. There is more extended ground to the left, which makes for a natural windbreak. And then on the other right side is a copse of trees that prevent you from just directly falling down a cliff into more trees. So again, it's also quite useful in that sense that it looks almost like someone sort of planned this area out as a good hiking spot. There is from where you are as you approach, you can see no tents, but you can see that there is an empty wooden shack. It looks very outhousey.
Outhousing. That's a word.
Sure. It looks almost like an outhouse. It's outhouse-ish. Yeah, what'd you do? I thought that's fantastic. If this was 7D, someone would already jumped off the cliff. Great. Fantastic.
I'd say we go in.
All of us
Just
into that
like
tiny outhouse?
someone could be in there.
Okay. It's like, I would say, 2 meters around in every direction, so it's big for an outhouse. Could very well be hiding a couple people. Who goes up to the door, I suppose. It's the typical, like, you know, when someone's carved a moon out of the door. It's all made of wood.
Does that mean it's time for a spot check, Scout?
You know what? If you were to, you know, get a bit paranoid and try and look around and see if you can spot anything or anyone, now would be a good idea.
You have met my character, yes?
Go right ahead and make that spot check, my dear.
You got the positive one, so. Oh.
You look up and
Terrible
receive
start.
rain! You receive rain, and that's it.
So, Jonathan looks around, leans out a bit, and then comes back and wipes his eyes and says, I leaned far too far forwards, I think. No, I don't even wear contact lenses. Why does this rain hurt that much?
Clearly, the rain is a plan.
Yeah. Maybe the rain's out to get you. But no, you just happen to look up at a
Massive rain.
Yeah, you looked up at a particularly bad time. A gust of wind just basically scooped like water, so it stopped going vertical for a second and traveled horizontally directly into your face when you were looking around.
That does hurt.
Which sucks. Everyone knows it sucks.
It's pretty bad.
So, yeah, you look around and you receive water. Who opens the outhouse door?
I'll do it.
I'll be right behind him,
Okay.
Stand off to the side.
or close behind him. Yeah.
Should I roll for something?
Can you make me a wisdom check as you approach the door? Anyone who's close enough, in fact.
Not bad.
Okay. You don't notice it until you get very, very close. Has Dirk ever smelled a dead body before?
Probably.
It smells very dead body right now.
Oh dear.
Yes. Even before you reach the door, you figure that there is something rotting on the other side of that door right now. Alright. Presumably you still open it up. Okay then.
I think I'll still open the door.
Okay. You open the door, and at least Sandra is surprised by what happens when a body falls out.
Oh,
Because Dirk didn't tell anyone. I love it when people don't do that. I set the bait up. I love setting the bait up. Just be like, so Sandra, Dirk didn't tell you, body. So a corpse falls out past Dirk.
he assumed everyone knew what that smell was.
Yeah, no, they weren't close enough. It's possibly the rain's fault. Yeah, the person who drops to the ground in front of you, they don't look like a hiker. The very first thing that you can tell about this figure is that his skin is a very pale yellow. And I don't mean like Asian racist yellow, but I mean like his skin is a pale yellow. Like you would figure it was jaundice at a glance, except for the fact that he's got you don't see any ears on this figure. His hair is short and spiky, and he doesn't appear to have a face. In that this case, his face has been ripped right off.
Oh.
To the point like we're seeing bone under it.
Yes, he looks like a Mortal Kombat fatality. Also, he appears to be wearing a business suit, or the tattered remains of a business suit.
Oh my. Gents, I think it might be time for us to... Well, Jonathan will draw his pistol and chamber around and turn the safety off.
Oh, okay.
That was my idea.
At the sight of that, Dirk will pull out his tactical vest from his bag and put it on.
Interesting. Okay.
Sandra's already wearing her vest, starting out, so...
Yep, smart.
I'll unclip my Tech 9 from underneath my arm.
Interesting. Okay then. So the body drops out, and all of you sort of spring into readiness. And I'm going to make a quick check on my end. The mythical 1d4 of events. Okay. The moment extends, and there's no sudden like gunshot cracking through the air, and you're all standing around this body. What roll to check a body? A medical check of any kind, like if it's related to providing aid or anything, can be used to make a basic check. When a body is not human, and all you know is human biology from experience, then it's a -2. Because, as you would expect,
to search his pockets.
Oh, that's just a spot check or a search. There is actually a search one for going through people's shit, actually, if I remember rightly, and that would be the one you want to use.
I'm probably not trained in that, so I'm trained in very few things.
Yeah, I should pull up a copy of the sheet so that I can see exactly
you're
what
trained
skills you
in
have
things.
available. But
Search and spot are both skills.
Yes, in this case, it's a search
is
skill.
an int check, so that's probably not good news.
Not good news for poor Dirk, but yes, no. If you want to rummage through someone's pockets and possibly find hidden things, it's going to be a search check. Spot will tell you anything obvious about him from a look. Search, I like to think of as looking with your hands. That will be to inspect the body. Is that a search?
Yeah, that's a search. That's like turn him over, go through sort of CSI it,
Okay.
go through his pockets, stuff like that.
All right. Yeah, I'll also wait for Jonathan's quick how long they've been dead check. 15 treat injury. Okay, great. With a treat injury check, it's harder to tell because from the first thing that Jonathan notices is this is not a human body. If the yellow skin, weird hair, and no ears didn't give it away. When you turn this person over and start looking over them properly just to quickly be like, how the fuck long has this guy been dead? He has no face, and you can also see the skulls, the skull structure. It's not human skull structure, and their teeth are almost serrated looking. You wouldn't know at a glance what kind of shadow kind this is. As for how long they've been dead, they've putrefied quite recently. The weather was warm up until today, and when it started shit pissing it down, you figure it's been like a couple of days.
Anything up, Doc?
Right. If this was a human, I'd say 2 to 3 days since they died. They're probably not a human. If they were a human, they were a very edgy human. But, well, Dirk, you're an orc. Do you have any idea what this person was?
Make an intelligence check for me, Dirk. You might know. It's very unlikely, but you might if you make a good intelligence check. I can at least point you in the right direction as a shadow kind.
First thing, it's nat 20.
It's not an orc. Probably. It's not you. Oh, fantastic. Oh, good shit. Alright then, as for actually searching him, Sandra, when you go through his pockets, it's a bit gross because he's a bit squidgy now. It looks like this person was athletically fit, by the way, just judging by the fact that you don't find much putrefying fat on them. It's definitely some putrefying muscle tissue and all that shit. And relatively dense bones, but they're very thin and skinny. When you go through it, you can tell that their pockets have already been very thoroughly rummaged through.
Oh.
That search, though, does lead you to check. You know the little space in a like a pair of jeans that looks like you could probably fit like a car key in it, but you wouldn't want to because it's a very small place to put anything. It's like that miniature inside shitty pocket inside a pocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
You get it. You
I
get
don't wear
you.
jeans anymore.
Yeah, you get like your little finger gets in there, and you can tell that there is something inside. And when you pull it out, you can see that it looks like a silver coin. And when I say silver, I don't mean just it's a coloured silver metal. It is made of silver, and it's a coin. And inscribed on it is a symbol which I have not added to Roll20, and will do a little bit later for you.
So it's not a leprechaun.
It is not a.
Otherwise, that'd be gold.
That is not. You're right. It isn't a leprechaun. Yeah, how very interesting. 1 second. I will see if I can find a picture of das silver coinen. It looks not unlike. This one will do. This. It is undeniably Arabic in appearance. Yeah, maybe that's racist. Dirk, you're a shadow kind. Don't you know all shadow kind? What? Just because I'm an orc?
He probably would do that.
Yeah. No. You can start race shaming him. It's okay, Dirk.
I plan to after this.
Yeah. It is a very Arabic-looking silver coin. It looks dusty and old, but like underneath your fingers, it doesn't just immediately bend or anything, so it's sturdier than it looks. But that is the only thing you find on him.
That is a.
What could it mean?
Okay. As for does anyone want to do spot checks or search checks to look around the actual area that you're currently in, as opposed to just the outhouse? Besides the body and the outhouse itself, it looks like there is place for a disposable toilet to be placed. Currently, there isn't one in there, so there's probably not been a camper there in the last like half a week.
I'll make a search check.
If I can make another one, I'll make another spot check.
Yes, in this case you are spot checking for anything completely unusual. In this case you're spot checking for direct surroundings, presumably. Okay then. Roll me a d2, Jonathan. No. Okay. You don't spot anything unusual.
And here's a search check.
Okay. That's a good start right there. Okay. And that isn't too bad. And we'll wait on Dirk as well. Is Dirk searching or joining Jonathan and looking for anything weird in your surroundings?
He's just gonna be casual because there's a dead body and he's a criminal.
Okay, sweet. He's just gonna chill out, max, and relax, all cool. Excellent. Okay then. Jonathan, you don't see anything weird about the surroundings themselves. So, like, you're casting your eye outwards while the other two are casting their eyes inwards. Sandra, you can tell that there have been tents at some point. You can't really estimate when, but there's the familiar patches where there was gravel and grass in some places that is faded because it hasn't seen sunlight. So it's possible there were some, like, long-term camps there. Simon, on the other hand, goes generally in the other direction from where the tents were. And actually spots what looks like a hole that's been dug in the ground and then very recently refilled. It just totally stands out as unusual. And considering you're next to an outhouse, odds are relatively decent that it isn't someone's pooping hole.
I'll draw attention and say, you guys might want to come over here. I found something odd.
Dirk will casually stroll over there.
Okay then. Yeah, there's a dirt space in the floor with some relatively overturned ground. It looks like someone has done a relatively decent job of making it look like just any old bit of dirt, but you spotted it as a bit unusual. And then once you've seen it, you can't unsee that. It's one of those moments.
Do you have
So true.
anything that we can use to dig it up with, Dirk? Or should we just use our hands?
Dirk has everything Dirk needs to dig.
Should I roll a strength check?
It's a good way to start. Do you have a shovel, Dirk? Kabrrr!
Nope. Unfortunately, that's one of the things he doesn't have.
Dirk strong. Dirk like tractor.
Dirk turned the earth. Ah, excellent. Okay then. Yeah, for a moment, like, it's quite tough to really get your fingers underneath there. Thankfully, it's been raining relatively recently. You find a squidgy bit that isn't just, like, you know, partly clay instead. And when you pull it away, you find that underneath the sort of clay dirt is more easy to turn over soil that matches the rest of the ground around you. After, I would say, like, 10 minutes of digging in this shitty weather, you get to the bottom. It's about a foot down, I would say, of just turning away dirt. If I say it's about a foot deep and a foot around, so it is a decently sized pit, I would say, that they've constructed here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a foot either way takes some time to do, especially then to cover it up afterwards. And when you pull it up, you find that someone has left a bunch of stuff inside a plastic bag. Like, imagine like almost a shopping bag sized Ziploc that's got someone's belongings inside it. At a glance, since it's a see-through bag, you can see that it is clothing. You can also make out a wallet, and you can make out what appears to be a phone.
Alright, I'll grab the bag, open up, and grab the wallet and see what's inside of it. As far as like any ID or anything like that.
Okay. In the wallet, you find £200 in 20s, so it's a decent stack of dosh.
I'll take that and slide it in my pocket. He's not gonna need that.
Yep. He probably won't. Who knows? You don't see that any identity has been kept in it, but it was obvious that identity cards were relatively recently in it, in that there are... You can make out where the leather of the wallet is a bit more worn, where cards used to belong in the card slot. Like the outline of numbers where it might have even been someone's debit card numbers, but it's faded a bit over time. And that's all that's in it that you can see.
Okay. Then I'll put the wallet back into the bag, and I'll take out the phone and see if there's any pictures or anything on there that we can use to find out who this was or who any of this belongs to.
Okay. Hey Dirk, you know what these kinds of phones look like. They tend to be the ones that drug dealers use for burn phones.
Ooh.
You would have seen this before. It is a phone.
Yeah, I recognize it as an evidence bag.
Correct. This is an evidence bag.
Uh-oh.
There you go. Well done. Yes, in
Can
this.
I burn my fingerprints with a chemical? Oh, I don't have one of those. Never mind.
No. Yes.
You can burn it with actual fire.
It is very strange that you would find an evidence bag out here, but it is a it's full of. It looks like 2 changes of clothes, an old burner phone that doesn't immediately turn on because it's out of battery by the looks of it, and a wallet that just had £200 and no identity.
Oh boy.
So there we go. I think that the legal concerns of your fingerprints are not going to be a problem considering you found this buried in the middle of a hiking spot. It's just going to put that one out there. I don't think that's a concern, really.
Dirk's being very careful not to touch anything that could incriminate him.
Yeah. Help! I don't want to be incriminated!
In an outhouse, it's not going to be
So,
too
there
big
we
a
go.
deal.
Alright. And that, so far, is all you have found here. Your searching of the area doesn't turn up anything else. And by this point, you're looking around and you're digging and all of that. It has gotten very reasonably dark out right now. It is only 6 p.m., but at the same time, it's 6 p.m. in heavy rain in approaching autumn. It's definitely dark in Dublin. In Darken Island, even.
What do y'all think we should do now? We found a dead body and some sort of evidence bag. This seems really odd to me.
Do we want to take the evidence bag with us?
I've touched it. I'm taking it with me now. No chances.
Okay, alright. Fair enough.
Well, if you're the one that takes it to the police, then you can probably get away with touching it. At
The
least
police.
it has somebody else's fingerprints already on there, so you really had better hope if that's the case.
Yeah. I am helping there.
Yeah. You also helped yourself to the dosh that was inside the wallet. So, you found a mysterious suited shadow kind with his face that's been torn off at an abandoned campsite in the middle of the pissing rain. You've seen a strange jeep nearby, but you've also seen no evidence of other people. I just want to put that out there. And that's so far all you've got to go on. So what now?
Seems to be a bit of a bust coming out here.
I love it. I love it. I love listening to brains just work.
Has anyone said that they saw the jeep going past?
I can't remember who saw it when they did.
I know my character did not. I do believe.
I think mine might have saw it.
What's going on? I zoned out.
Who of us saw the Jeep earlier while we were walking down to the campsite outhouse?
Dirk didn't see nothing.
Dirk don't know shit.
That's
So-
basically it.
Here's the important question. Would Simon have actually let anyone know that he'd seen the jeep?
I probably would have let you guys know after this, and how it's odd that there's a vehicle on a non-vehicle path.
Like right now, like hey, I found a body and a burn bag, and also there's a mysterious jeep that was following us around for a while.
Well,
Eh,
we don't know who's following us around. It was just
Well-
off to the side, I think.
It was driving ahead of you, so
Oh.
they would have gotten here about, you would posit, like 45 minutes before you arrived.
Hmm.
Then yeah, I'd probably tell them about the Jeep now then. That earlier there's one ahead of us and it probably would have gone here before us.
So 45 minutes probably isn't long enough to dig a small grave, stick some shit in it, and then rebury it, is it?
Well, we dug with our hands. They might have had tools, shovels,
Yeah,
who
they-
knows?
Yeah, that's enough time to bury stuff, yes. But that guy's been dead a while.
Oh, sure, that guy has been, but, I mean... It's entirely possible to kill someone and then dump their bodies someplace else.
That's
And if that means you have to keep it in storage a couple of days, that's fine if you have a separate secure storage location, but that location isn't good enough for dumping it long term, and you don't have access to a pig farm.
Yeah.
or a hothouse, but so the Jeep could possibly be connected to all this.
It might, who knows? Maybe it's just some teenager breaking law, but it seemed out of place for this kind of area.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Although I have to say, I would have expected, if the rain was this bad, that the ground would be really muddy and any Jeep tracks would be kind of obvious.
You did not detect any Jeep tracks when you reached this area.
Well, I didn't, but I'm incapable
That was
of
versus
rolling
shitty
a
roll,
good
yes.
spot roll.
Maybe,
That's a good point.
That's
Maybe we should look for Jeep tracks. Now that
Yeah.
I know to look for.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
See if this helps with my just flat.
Woo!
Orc don't know shit.
What's a Jeep? Fucking Simon, you could detect the tracks. Well done. Sandra, you can see things that might be Jeep tracks, and Simon confirms that they are Jeep tracks. And it's a bit deeper, probably further down from this route. You're running out of cliff where it could be without having to do some serious proper hiking now, though. So it might not be very far from you guys.
Hmm.
You think we
Well,
should follow them?
I think us on foot are more capable of traversing a cliff than a Jeep is.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. You're approaching the limits of where a Jeep could possibly get in this area.
Well, to the hunt, I guess.
yeah,
we've-
let's get going. Jonathan will put his hands in his pockets. His pistol is still in his hand, but it's now in a pocket, so... I'm expecting people to not see it, but also to get some minus on any attack roll I have to make, so... You decide whatever's appropriate, Scout.
What, you've got your gun, but it's just in your pocket?
Yeah.
That's fine, yeah. Someone will probably be able to tell that you're holding a gun in your pocket, but at the same time, like, it's not. I'm not going to negative you. I'll say that you've got it considerably readied. And also, if you ever got into a combat situation, I'd say if it's already in your hands and all you have to do is pull it from your pocket or shoot through your pocket, I would give you advantage on like any initiative related stuff. That's perfectly responsible.
Cool.
Like let's face it, if someone goes, "All right, you put your hands up, I'm going to shoot you," and your hands in your pocket holding a gun, you could totally try and get a shot off before they got you. Like that's the kind of idea there. Although you would have to shoot a hole through your lovely coat.
Yeah. And
Sad
and
days
also
right there.
You can't actually use the iron sights properly, which is why I was expecting a negative to the attack roll.
The attack roll itself, yes, but you would have better odds of any kind of like go first roll. Is essentially what I was saying. Like the initiative of an attack, I would give you that kind of advantage. Hitting is another story.
Okay. I guess I just misunderstood what you initially said.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. I probably didn't word it super well. So yes, further across, it gets a little bit steeper again in the direction that the Jeep was heading. Any further though, and you're going to start reaching trees and hiking paths. So it must be close if the Jeep is here, or it's managed to leave without you seeing it.
That's entirely possible, but is it like branch it like? Is there any? Okay, I assume we're just following the tracks. We're literally just almost like in their footprint, right?
That's correct. Is there anything you would like to do while following these tracks?
Nothing that I can think of.
Okay.
No, we're just.
All right then. You are turning the corner as there's a steep, like, hard left as you're following these tracks. And through the heavy rain, you can just barely make out the muted click sound of someone readying a gun. As you turn the corner, who was leading the group down this hill following these tracks? I would guess Simon, since he's the one who could follow the tracks properly in this situation.
I would think so.
Yeah, as you turn this hard corner, you can see that there is a black Jeep pulled over. There is a woman sat in the passenger seat who is sort of like leaning out, got short-cut black hair, and there is another suited man, and he's holding a gun, and it's pointed directly at you guys. The gun in his hands is a small SMG.
Ooh. Luckily, Dirk's already got his tactical vest on.
That's good news for Dirk. I don't know how good news that is for
Not me.
Simon.
We should.
I'm in
We
front.
should,
I'm small. I have low HP.
We should try diplomacy. Diplomancy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah, diplomancy. Big fan of diplomancy.
Anyone good at diplomacy?
Big thing in Ireland with the gift of gab.
Yeah, the gift of gab. Which is also the worst thing to get in a game of guess.
Yeah. Well.
Sorry about that. I shouldn't have any TV on in the background now, though.
Oh, excellent.
I heard everything that was happening. I have a +3 on diplomacy, so...
You should probably do talking. I'm not good with people.
Yeah,
Are we
Dirk's
sure
just...
we trust my dice rolls?
My fate may be possibly in your hand.
I'm trying to get as small as I can.
Excellent. Okay, then.
Dirk's ready to jump in front of anyone and take a bullet if needed.
Great. The first thing that happens is he asks you a question, and that is, what the fuck are you doing here?
What the fuck are you doing here?
Is that really your response?
Don't, please.
No, please don't. You're not in front. I'm going to go get bullet if you people.
Frankly, I like that approach. I'm not gonna lie. Well, what the fuck are you doing here? He pauses and goes,
Duck,
Sorry.
shut up.
Okay.
let's pull in a token. This is the man here. He's in a rough, like, leather jacket, and it looks like he's relatively tooled up, very bodyguard-esque. He's got graying hair, wrinkled up face, very craggy. He's seen a lot of winters, this gentleman.
Jonathan will raise the one hand he doesn't have in his pocket and say, "So, are you the man we're meant to meet?"
He pauses and goes, I very much doubt it, sir. Depends, do you know who we are? And can you prove who you are?
Well, we're us. This is Mr. Theork. He's with the FSB. He said we were to meet some people here in relation to some individuals that were picked up 2 weeks ago that we're now meant to be taking on ourselves for in-depth training. I mean, if we're in the wrong place, we're happy to just go.
He blinks slowly and aims the gun dead on at you and goes, That is the craziest selection of bullshit I ever heard. And also, I don't know who you're trying to fucking fool calling your obviously orcish companion here Theork, but yeah, no, I'm looking for a real answer, and you're running out of options here.
Oh, thank fuck. Okay, I just want to say, since I realized I had this job with this fucking joker, I've been trying to find some sort of way to just get out of the whole, oh yeah, he's totally an orc. And, best thing that came to mind, FSB, Theork, it's a shitty pseudonym. So, I'm sorry. Right.
Your name, please, sir.
My name is actually Dirk the Orc.
Lovely. Pleasure to meet you, Dirk, and the rest of your chummy companions here.
I'm Sandra.
I'm a small scientist. Please don't hurt me.
Dr. Jonathan Hunter, I'm a GP.
Currently don't have a job.
Yeah,
Shut up.
that's great. But who are you with?
We're with some druid.
He pauses for a moment. Some
Are you
druid.
with the werewolf?
That makes his eyebrows go up. He goes, obviously there does seem to be some confusion going on here. I'm with a werewolf.
Dirk's always confused.
As that's said, the woman steps out of the passenger seat of the car. She is dressed considerably more scantily. In fact, I'll enlarge that token for everyone's joy there. I fucking love that picture.
Nice.
Very
Great
nice.
picture.
Yep. And she walks out, and then stepping to her heels as a dog. You can see that from the back she's got a fucking huge machete. And there is like a pistol strapped to the inside of her thigh. Which looks like it would be quite uncomfortable, but her stance is quite far apart, so, good for her. And he goes, and now I think it's time we had ourselves a proper conversation here. And the woman will step up next to him, going to draw her gun as well.
Is that
Right. Yes.
is that cue to reach for
conversation.
weapons?
What would you like to know? As we've already answered the actual question you've put to us. Is there anything else? As you are with a werewolf. Is that the werewolf that broke into the luggage compartment? Because if that is, then, well, you've completely undermined our soul lead, and we should probably just go and get drunk, shouldn't we, guys?
Yes, I agree with that.
He pauses, confused for a moment, and goes, what do you mean, other werewolf?
Well, something with claws and either a complete lack of interest in money or an aversion to silver broke open a set of lockers, went through some luggage, and clawed at the one that was locked. So, and was still intelligent enough to, I believe you said, Simon, that they did actually get into it and broke everything inside deliberately, right?
Right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's
Yes.
what it looked like anyway.
And still was intelligent enough to put the code in and smash everything that might have been incriminating to them. So, yes, that's us, fully out there. Your turn to talk about yourselves, I think.
Yeah, he glances at the girl and she nods slightly. He puts up his gun, so, he's no longer aiming dead on at Jonathan D. Hunter. And goes, frankly, I can't really tell you much about us because from the looks of it, you're independents. And I'm sure that you wouldn't want to get yourselves involved in anyone who's not supposed to be here. Isn't that correct? And he'll again glance at the woman. She'll nod again. She hasn't spoken or said a word yet. The dog at her side obediently pauses.
That is right. I think we were supposed to get the name of anyone who isn't supposed to be here, so please don't actually give any names that you would be known by at the bar in Dublin. You know the one.
Ah, I see. Okay, then. Alright. I would like to say we're going to put all of our cards out on the table, but frankly, we don't want to do that. What we can say is that we're very interested in the individual that is out here somewhere. And, he pauses, we're very interested in the other individuals that might be around here. I'm starting to suspect, judging by how fucking lost you sheep appear to be, you're not them. Or you're very good actors.
Both?
You're not the people you're looking for.
Yeah. D narrows his eyes and goes, yeah, sure, both. So, what's gonna happen is...
Well, I'm sure that you've already seen my full extent of acting ability with the FSB routine.
That was, frankly, the most shameful thing I've ever seen, but point taken.
Yeah, but
Now
don't
then.
mention that around certain innkeepers. They might not like it.
Now, I've got some recommendations here for you. One, you stay the fuck out of our business. We aren't supposed to be here, but that doesn't mean we want anyone else being here. Two, you do whatever lying is necessary, and you inform them that there ain't anyone here. Any evidence that there was here, they were plucked up like a week ago by some suited-looking motherfuckers. Do you understand me so far? Men in suits took the one you're looking for, and that's the story you're gonna give them.
What, like the man in the suit in that cabin back there?
He narrows his eyes. We didn't look in that cabin. What do you...
Oh, there was
paused.
a corpse in there, a shadow kind. I think an elf, but no ears. Though it was hard to tell. Their face was ripped off, you see. So I wasn't wholly sure whether their ears were taken off as well, or if they were just born without external ears.
He will try and go by your description.
Just occurred to me it was probably an elf.
He pauses and goes, doesn't sound like an elf to me. You'd probably know if they had their ears ripped off. Okay, anyway, we didn't see that. And that actually makes this whole situation a lot more confrontational. You see,
Yes.
Suit Man
So-
isn't us, and Suit Man isn't you. We're gonna go take a look at this man.
Okay, so you've laid out your offer. Your offer is fair and reasonable. Would you like to hear our counteroffer?
I could do with a laugh, go ahead.
We work together. We have clearly demonstrated an affinity for opening doors that are probably not sensible to open. I would give a glare at Dirk, because I think Dirk was the one that actually opened the door. And that,
Dirk will beam.
He
that
beams.
means that
Good dirt.
you fellows don't need to get your fingerprints anywhere. And, worst comes to worst, you get 4 more mooks to throw at the problem. Best comes to the best, we all get to know what happened. We can work out a story to tell our random druid together, but doesn't really run into any situations that are bad in the long term, because we worked it out fully together with all of the facts. And you know who the lot of us are, and at the very least, even if some of us did lie about our names, you know our faces.
Yeah, great. Okay, look, how about
Clearly
ease
shitty-
up on the...
clearly too shitty enough
He tries to cut you off, and then you just keep on going over him. It's like, okay. Look, I get it. All right then. I like your offer, actually, all things considered. But at the end of the day, you can go tell you whoever the fucks that you handled it yourselves. You know what? We don't care. We aren't supposed to be here, and you don't mention us. That's fine. You do mention us, and we kill you in your sleep. Now, we would like to go take a look at this body. We were going to until you all turned up, and you had to just keep on looking. Great. In this fucking terrible weather. He indicates a jeep. There's space for you all to squeeze in if Dirk sits in the like truck bit at the back.
He'll do that.
Yeah, he goes, hop in. We're gonna go back around there then. And then how about we escort you lovely fine folk home?
Sounds lovely.
Seems fine.
All right then. You get in the stranger's jeep. It smells of dog in there. That's probably the dog, who will hop in the back with Dirk and watch him with very creepy eyes. Like, you know when you see the husky that's got very human blue eyes? This is like a greyhound that's got weird human looking eyes. Yes, and he'll sit there, or lie down in the back there with Dirk watching him, and they
Dirk will pet the dog.
Roll a charisma check. Or if you have it, handle animal if you have that trained, handle animal.
I do not.
Then it's a raw charisma
I could
check.
have, but I didn't want them.
He alright. Oh. He bites you really fucking hard. Because that's a crit.
Ooh.
Luckily it's just a dog bite. So he's got an incredibly high attack modifier, but his specialty is not damage. You take 4 damage. And if this were actually an engagement, you would be considered grappled and unable to use the arm that he's currently biting down on. But that does suck for you. You take 4 damage of dog bite. Well,
I get infected.
Yeah, do you make any sound about being bitten?
He might make a small yelp.
There's like a pounding sound. The woman just sort of sticks her hand out of the car and then slams her fist down on top of the roof of the car, and the dog lets go of you and then resumes lying there. It licks his chops.
Orc tastes like chicken.
I imagine you taste more like pork, but yeah, no, I imagine orcs to be more porky.
Oh darn! I missed the pun. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Delicious pork. Yeah, okay. And it's like, Dirk is not now a werewolf, no.
Aww.
This thing is far too greyhound-like. He could be a weird greyhound. The fastest orc in the West. Con save versus weird dog. I should have just had you make like a pointless con save just to see, but no, this appears to just be some kind of creepy dog.
Oh.
There is thankfully no magical impact of being bitten by this thing.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like just 2 minutes of them reversing back towards where that outhouse is. It is still pissing it down with rain, and when you arrive, they will all get out of the car and presumably allow you to either stay in it or get out too.
I'm getting out.
I'll step
Yep.
out.
No.
I'm getting out and
I'm already out, but I'll get
deploying
out.
my
further.
umbrella again.
Is there any other going lit up? It's set to last for another half hour, so, you know, good for you. Admittedly, that's out of character knowledge, but it's not relevant. It'll be like another half hour before the rain stops. Fucking, you rolled a 2.
That was in character, so she was saying that.
Oh. He goes, it blew in pretty fast with the wind. I imagine it won't take long.
Okay.
Yeah. He spots the body. But he doesn't go up to it. Instead, the person who does is the woman. And she will crouch down and start sniffing. Very curious behavior. And I think you've figured out exactly what she is.
He literally said.
Yes, exactly. But if anything, that's now proof. And she'll look over it and pause and wave him over. He'll also take a look and goes, well, I mean, it's not an elf.
Ah, well, I mean,
Unfortunate.
you can see why I might have thought that, the slender bones and the sharp teeth.
No, yeah, no. I mean, I recognize this kind of mook. This right here, there's a snakekin. You know, they hate the Wanti. Oh, maybe you don't know anything about the Wanti.
Ah,
How
yeah,
new are
well,
you? Yeah. I imagine Jonathan was about to spiel, and then he just goes, no, we didn't. He goes, yeah, figured. How new are you people, anyway?
Some of us might have done.
So we all look at Dirk. Some of us, but I doubt it. Pretty new. Pretty like.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I've known Jumpman for
Well,
a few years now.
Let's put it this way. For at least 3 of us, our main contact is just some druid. So.
Great. Okay. So you're Greenhorn Independence. That's it's fucking fantastic. Wonderful.
Our life expectancy is not great walking into this.
Yeah, no. I imagine they thought this would be simple, and it was supposed to be. But that says that it isn't, and he indicates the body.
I mean, anything that has a group of hikers missing for 2 weeks, that's not going to be simple. If they thought it was simple, they were fucking retarded.
No, it usually just means that something big and mean snapped him up, and it's a simple go and kill or tell it to stop. Actually, this is
Jonathan
actually.
will draw his pistol and say, "Look, most of us just have handguns. We're not."
Wait, do
going
you
to be
draw
able
it at him?
Don't
No,
put down
no.
the pistol.
Jesus.
You will get killed if you do
Throw
this kind
it
of thing.
from pocket pointed upwards.
Goes,
Like,
yeah.
not pointing it at him.
Guess what really sucks? Getting shot with a gun.
Put down the gun. Just let the nice man talk.
Yeah, as I was fucking saying. Usually, you go down there, you kill the big bad, and you peace out. Very simple job, and that's kind of what you do. It's first engagement rules, except we're not allowed to be here, and neither's this snaky bastard, and he'll kick at the corpse.
Well, if he's not allowed to be there, then presumably the half-elf in town isn't allowed to be here either, so...
Wait, you mean the Bart? No, she's not. She's allowed to be. Of course she is. She's just a citizen. You know what? We're gonna have ourselves a long fucking talk when we get back into town.
That you do realize that there are multiple. Like the reason we got asked is because there are multiple like syndicates and things in the area, right, Jonathan?
Yes, I realise.
allowed to get
But
asked.
there's
So-
nothing evidencing the fact that he's related to a syndicate other than the fact that he's wearing a suit.
He glances over at his werewolf companion and says, "That and the fact that we can't tell you that we're actually here. No, your friend has it right. We're one of them, and this snaky asshole is also one of them." And as he finishes this sentence,
Obviously not on the same team.
yes, you're correct. As he's finishing that sentence, the werewoman will stand up from the body that she was sniffing at. And who's carrying the silver coin right now?
Who's the
I
one
think
that?
That's Simon, isn't it? He was
Yeah, I
the one
believe
that went
Simon.
through everything.
Yeah, she will stalk
Yeah,
up
the
into.
person, I thought that was Sandra. She took the body going. I looked in the burn bag.
Oh, okay. Sandra, the werewolf is now up
Okay.
in your face. He goes, "What do you have from his person? I can smell it on you."
I bring out the coin.
Oh, well, I'll
He
be
might not wanna touch
fucking...
it, though.
Oh, you're quite right. It would be unpleasant. It would give me itchy skin. She
that's pretty
inspects it and sniffs and goes, "Well, that's fucking wonderful. You probably also don't know what that is, do you?"
No clue.
"Well, fantastic. How about we all get ourselves in the car? If someone could pass me that bottle of kerosene in the back of the jeep, we will quickly burn this corpse and move on."
Like, right here.
"Yes, literally. No one is coming, so we will cover this body in burnable things and burn it."
I have a lighter if we need to do that.
"Yes, a lighter is a good start, but also the fuel in the back of our jeep."
I'll go get the kerosene out of the fuel. I go get the fuel for the fire. I'm just shocked that they would do it in a relatively easy to get to area. But burning the body will hopefully do something.
Yep.
You don't have any acid that you could
Do we look
cover
like
the
we're?
body with?
Do we look like we're
Yes,
prepared
you
to?
look like you're the sort of people who are prepared to get rid of bodies at the drop of a hat. Let's be honest here.
Again,
Your first
we're.
reaction to people walking towards you was to draw an SMG.
She looks back at that jacket man. He goes,
Uh,
"Look, again, we're here for first encounter shit, which is, talk or kill and be done with it, not ghost humans or ghost shadow kinds. We can't just make a body vanish. That's like, deep agent shit. We're one syndicate. These, in fact, if you're looking for someone who could make a body disappear, he indicates the snake corpse that he's now having Sandra pour kerosene all over.
With a surprising amount of glee, just.
Yep. And then he'll pull out a box of matches, which seems like a very dainty action for him. You'd expect him to have like cigars and lighters, but he pulls out a little matchbox and strikes a match up and tosses it onto the body afterwards. I guess we'll give that 5 minutes of burn, and I'm just going to kick it down the cliff. Anyone else got a problem with that?
No, not at all. I am completely fine with this as long as I'm okay.
Excellent.
I don't have a problem with it per se. It's just, you strike me as the sort of people that have better solutions than fire. I'm sorry, but I have more faith in you than you evidently deserve.
It looks like a camping accident. He
Yeah.
got himself on fire and ran himself off a cliff.
No, Frank.
Nobody sets themselves on fire.
He pauses and puts his hand.
on fire and then he tries
Just
to
funny,
throw
just lets
himself
it
off
happen.
and roll down a cliff. It's fine.
No, frankly, this guy's group is probably gonna be coming and dealing with it. They'll find his smoldered remains and get rid of it. This is literally just get it the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I agree. Let's get this the fuck out of here.
Yes. He waits until the body is fully thoroughly caught, and he will kick it down the cliff, where it will tumble grossly into the trees and stuff. Thankfully, it's pissing it down with rain, so there's no risk of it like lighting into something a lot worse. Well, there's a bit of a smoldery trail on the way down. Not my best. All right.
Good enough for government work.
Yeah, he just points towards the jeep and goes, "Alright, let's get into town. Apparently I need to teach you fucking greenhorn something." The werewoman looks a little bit put out that that you're being chaperoned, but she doesn't argue on this fact. So, you haul ass into the jeep, presumably. You get back into the stranger's jeep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And yeah, you begin the drive back. You're probably quite glad you're driving back, because by this point it's approaching 7 and it's still shit raining, although it appears to be evening out. Would someone like to roll for weather again? I will generally not have you rolling for weather unless you're out and traveling in it, but I just think it'll be quite funny. It's still raining. If the weather is shit, the weather remains unchanged, so, enjoy that. Good stuff. I love those tables. They're great. So, yes, you drive back in shit weather. Good times were had by all. He doesn't play anything in the radio. Do you have any conversations with this guy for the hour drive back?
Yeah,
Actually,
he's something like a ghost. Is that like what
Means
came
we're
across?
invisible. We're spooks. Or not really spooks.
No, I thought I meant like. Okay, never mind.
Not literal ghosts. Like we don't exist, technically.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, us two here, we're not...
They're spooks. We're ghosts.
Okay.
He shrugs and looks at his companion. Literally, he just out loud you hear him ask, "Look, how much are we allowed to fucking tell him?"
I was just gonna ask what the dog's name was.
His name is Hunter, because he hunts. It is simple
Clever.
name, but he likes simple name.
Functional.
As a
Anyway.
werewolf, can you actually speak dog?
That sounds racist.
She wrinkles her nose and goes,
That is very.
"No, that is an interesting assumption. Dogs don't speak dog. They make noises and give... You know what? No. The answer is no."
The pheromone trail,
okay,
I
but
assume.
I'm sorry
You
for our
said
racist friend.
that he likes simple name. That suggests he's capable of a complex opinion.
Hunter is not... Hunter is not a simple dog.
Seems good.
But he doesn't speak dog, and I don't speak dog, you weirdo. Yes, she calls
Okay,
you the weirdo.
I'm inclined to agree.
So am I.
Yay! You can't win, she's this weird Eastern European werewolf. Okay. On the journey back, she basically, in the gist version, says that they are part of one group. They aren't a syndicate. They are a agency. The suit is part of a syndicate. Like, they are more far-reaching. They are as close to the Shadowkind's Men in Black. There are a few more, but she won't talk about them because she knows that they wouldn't want her talking about them, just like, she wouldn't want them talking about her. Essentially. The man chimes in at a point and says that, again, the reason they shouldn't be here is because when you're this close to neutral ground, it's nobody's jurisdiction, so they shouldn't be getting involved in Shadowkind operations. It should be handled by independents. And then he nods towards you guys, being like, your independents. Problem is, apparently, that the only independents available these days are fucking greenhorns who have never done this work in their lives.
Okay,
Was
first,
a greenhorn actually
I
runs
have
in
an
white?
issue here, and that is, but why is your arrangement so shit? The closer to neutral ground you get, the more professional you would want people to be.
No, because we're not supposed to fucking be here, genius.
Yes,
We're supposed to look in.
that's the question. Why are you not supposed to be here?
Because if
If
they
someone
find out, bad things
sensible,
happen.
if someone sensible had arranged this, it would be that, near neutral ground, you would be the only ones allowed to be here. The independents would be sent off to the middle of nowhere where nobody gives a fuck. But here, where it's close to neutral ground, you would want organized people who can take care of things and make sure the people who don't know about anything don't have any reason to worry. Like, if
Okay,
I had
I
a
see
big
your-
agency behind me, I wouldn't have to claim that I was with the FSB.
Frank, first of all, that was a very stupid claim to make in the first place. You don't want to say that you're a foreign authority, especially since you're the least Russian man I've ever seen in my life. Second of all, the reason that the people we send in, well, we don't send in independents, they send in independents, is because that most agencies and syndicates don't fucking get along. And when you're in neutral ground and you start a fight with another agency or syndicate, that's the kind of shit that starts a war, which they don't want to do.
Right.
Out there in the rest of the world, nowhere near neutral ground, we all fucking fight all the time over Shadowkind, and we'll do it because we want to recruit them, or we'll do it because we want whatever they're worth. You do realize that Shadowkind are worth a lot, both physically and monetarily. Frank, please tell me you're aware of at least this much.
See,
Excuse me, 1 second, I need to make a roll. Please, guys, hope this is below a 5. Above a 5, even. Okay.
Yeah, it's below a 5 by golf scores.
That was a poverty check to see if Jonathan would attempt to ransom Dirk for the ability to eat regularly more often.
Interesting. So I take it you don't make that offer.
No, I do not hold a gun to Dirk and offer to sell him to them.
Good news, that. Yeah, I don't know how that would go. Again, I also don't know how drawing the gun would go in the first place. Also, that Dirk is in the boot of the Jeep right now. In the back, in the truck part with the dog. So you'd have to be pointing out of their rear window at him. He wouldn't even know he's being threatened. He'd just be sat there, staring at the dog, and not knowing a gun was being pointed at him by a crazy doctor. Thank God you rolled above a 5.
Yeah.
Fucking wonderful. Okay, so yeah, you guys. Alright, so from what we can tell right now in this situation, is that someone is able to dispatch other groups, and it wasn't us, which means it's either the Shadowkind that we're all looking for a chat, a lovely friendly chat, or there's another group, which would be terrible news. Or it's you guys and you're all liars, but we didn't smell his corpse on your, besides the coin.
okay.
And then they'll let everything lapse into silence. And eventually, unless you have any other questions to ask while you're in the car.
No, I think that does pretty good.
Okay. You return to Glendalough. The weather is shit. They ask where you're staying.
Should we?
Chilion Fionfern. I mean, they're going to be able to find us.
Yeah,
Let's
might
be
as well
honest.
just straight up tell them. Yeah.
I like that thinking. If you'd lied, I'd have had them find you later in the night. Thank goodness. Yes, exactly. They'd be like, "We have a werewolf with us. For fuck's sake, we could find you." Thank goodness you played it safe. Yes. All right. And they will drop you off there, and they say, "Don't go far tonight. They will be back." And they drive off back out of town.
That sounds extremely ominous, and I think, well, that sounds extremely ominous.
Do you bring that up when they tell you that? I'll give you last moments to have any parting words with them before they go. They basically say, "Look, you stay here tonight, and we'll be back. Don't go anywhere or do anything stupid."
Can we go to the pub?
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
I
They
feel
say
like
that
I need a drink.
they say don't do anything stupid. That's much less ominous. That means they do intend to not clean us up, quote unquote.
He pauses and goes, "As long as you don't start a fight with a shadow kind in a pub, I don't give a shit."
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Orc makes no promises.
Good luck with whatever you do.
Good shit.
That's okay. I know some nice stunties to have a chat with.
Great, yeah.
Will they still be here?
Who knows? I mean, they're dwarves and they're
Good
drinking. It's possible they haven't even left yet. They haven't left the bar the first time you saw them there.
But
They might have
they
rotated. They
left
might have
that bar.
Yeah, they left that pub. They might have rotated back around to the same first ones again by now for the third time. Where do we drink next? I don't remember that one. No, neither do I. They're goldfishing their way around. So they will drive off into the shit weather. Yeah. Okay. So it is now approaching 9 p.m. It's late. It's cold and shitty. You return to the Chilean. There is a fireplace going on in the lobby next to the bar. When you turn up, they let you know that your rooms are all cleaned and stuff. They don't use the words "and stuff." They probably say nice receptionist-y things, but basically the gist is that everything there is ready for you to, re-room yourselves, whatever the fuck. You've still got a couple days paid up.
Good.
And they will leave you to your day. So, what do you do in the night?
Pub?
I'm down for that. I could use a drink after that stressful situation.
Okay. I can't afford to get around. I can maybe afford to get a drink for one person. At least without maxing out this credit card.
I'll buy you the drink this time since you're poor.
Thank you. I promise, as soon as I've cleared these debts, I'll get you all around. But
I like that Simon's
you're
got
not
200
gonna
stolen
then
quid in his
show
pocket.
his, like half dozen credit cards and say, this one's maxed out, and this one's maxed out, this one's maxed out. Oh, this one isn't actually maxed out. Yes, I can actually get you one single round.
Simon has literally 200 stolen quid in his pocket right now.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I don't remember, did you look over the clothes when you pulled them out of the bag?
I didn't actually. I did not.
Okay. They are fitted clothes for a man who would wear small sized clothes, like 32-inch waist. You could probably guess lean and short. And definitely male. I believe they'd fit Simon. I can't remember how big Simon is.
I'm pretty small actually. I'm only 5'7", and with like a small body.
Yeah, you'd be able to fit them quite well.
What you said they're made of again? I didn't quite catch it.
They are relatively nice. They're fitted clothes, dark colours. You can see that there are no shoes or boots or anything, but as for the rest of it, it's one is a pair of, it looks like hardware clothes for, like literally hiking and shit like that, and a matching shirt with a bit of a camo flare to it, and then there's also a pair of like nice chinos and a black shirt that looks like going out wear.
Oh, okay. I don't really need them. Anybody else think they can fit in these clothes? Oh my god. Or
you want with these mysterious clothes? Banging.
I've got a pair
Confused
of
the
outfits.
heck out of the people.
Jonathan, you could use them. You're poor. You could use a change of outfits.
He is 6'4". They would not fit him well at all.
Dang. If not, then I'm just gonna leave them in the alleyway.
Big man, little coat. Big man, little coat. Anyway.
Okay, cool.
Did
Sorry, you just ditched the
you not
clothes.
get that reference? Sorry.
No, I didn't. I apologize for not getting that reference. I'm a bad person.
I think it was Tommy Boy.
I never saw Tommy Boy.
I
It's pretty
don't
funny.
even know what that is. I'm sorry.
It's a comedy movie.
Yep. Apparently, lots of great quotables in it, but I've not
Yeah.
yet seen it myself.
Like there's like I forget how big the guy is. He's like 6'7", and it's not Seth Green, but it's someone like Seth Green's size. Think like a professional, like a linebacker or football player or an orc, putting on like say like a pseudo midget's clothes, like a little coat, and he's just like trying to like wear it around.
Nice. Yeah, no, it would look a lot like that on Dirk. Poor Dirk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Oh, Dirk, do you call her at night or do you call her the following day in the morning?
I'm gonna call her at night,
Okay, cool.
or it gets too late.
Before it gets too late. All right, cool. Make a charisma check. I'll just tell you briefly how that conversation goes, as opposed to anything particularly in depth.
Not shitty. Praise Helix.
Ooh, baby. Actually, I don't think you managed to get into contact with her that day. It goes to voice
Oh.
message.
I'll leave a nice message saying, "Hey, that was nice. Maybe do it again. Maybe we'll do it again sometime."
does its voice break while saying it? Maybe don't do it again
No.
sometime. I think that'd be way
No,
funnier.
It's just my voice
Aw.
breaking.
Aw. Is Dirk's voice very, very deep, or is he actually quite moderate compared to his size?
I'll say moderate.
Okay. Alright, cool. Yeah, you leave her a message. Alright. Sandra's drinking water. Oh no. What do you mean, like in real life? That's possible that he's just gone to go get a drink.
No.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. I mean, you walk into the pub and you can see a familiar rowdy crowd.
Oh no. The temptation.
Exactly. When you arrive, you see dwarves.
I'm not buying them drinks again.
Presumably, you go to the same place that had the elf, because that's where they are. The half elf, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Because there are other pubs about, but presumably you pick that one. It is the nicest, and it has the
Yeah.
attractivest barmaid, which is always a selling factor.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, okay. There is a familiar crowd of drinking dwarves, and you can go hang out with them and have drinks. They don't pressure you to buy them rounds. Like different members of the group are like deep in, and the other ones are the more soberish of them. It actually might very well be that they rotated throughout the day and then resumed drinking in the night, so that the ones that were the most shit-faced are vaguely sobered up, and then those ones that were still sober enough to do more drinking are now the hammered ones.
This is scarily efficient.
Look, okay, a dwarf drinks. He drinks hard. He drinks to win. He drinks like he's always going for a medal.
All right, I gotta join this. I gotta get in.
Yeah. All right then. Let's have that con save, baby. I am interested if Dirk will go over and say hi to the dwarves as well, because that'll be fun.
I'm pretty sure he will.
Okay. We'll have. Alright. Sandra is arriving and everyone is greeting her like, "Oh fucking yes!" And they're going to they go about the usual rounds and rounds of drinks. All start flowing in again, and they'll wave over anyone who wants in. And then for a moment, there's a really long pause when Dirk arrives at the table, and half of them just like, are you? They'll ask a question in Orcish to Dirk along the lines of, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
I'm with this lady. I'll say back in orc.
Oh, he pauses and goes, "I'll be fucking damned. Not here to do any killing, eating in the night shit.
Repeat that?
Are you not here to do any killing, eating in the night shit?" As in, like, orcs have a reputation for getting into a lot of fights with dwarves. Dirk might be aware of that.
I'm just here to have a night with my friends, or rather acquaintances.
All right.
Not that you know what acquaintances are actually, but still.
Some with my boys. Does the
Boys,
bar have a
yeah, I'm
bottle
thinking.
of absinthe? Yes, it would do. It would be. In fact, it would be typically named the Green Fairy, as absinthe is wont to be. One sec. Fucking yeah, one of them's just like, "Come on, it'll be fine," and then they all decide, "Yeah, all right, getting on the drinking." Only if the orc tries to keep up with them.
He'll do it.
Of course he fucking will. He's a goddamn orc. Let's see that con save, baby.
Fortitude?
Yep. Shit, fucking what? I am so amazed that John bought a bottle of Green Fairy.
Oh, wait, I should add another +1 to that. 15.
15? You're okay with 15. Well done. You keep up.
Today has been a bad day for Dr. Hunter. He's just
Yeah.
screw it.
You plunk down the bottle and all the dwarves go, "Is he alright? Is he fucking okay?" Yeah, alright then.
A long day.
Yep, your wealth bonus goes down by 1 and you deliver a bottle of Green Fairy to the table. The half-elf barmaid will notice where you're taking it to and she'll be like, "Oh, fuck me." And she goes and collects like a bunch of... have you ever seen an absinthe glass?
No.
I have not.
Yes.
Absinthe glasses are really pretty, actually. When people drink absinthe, they really fucking drink absinthe. Let's see here if I
Yeah.
can find a nice one.
That sounds like a medical treatment to me. I don't know why.
It does sound like that.
Like it sounds like ether.
It's
which
one
I-
of the strongest alcohols that exist. So
Oh yeah, it's the kind of thing that they call it the Green Fairy because it was the poet's drink. They'd get shit-faced on absinthe, hallucinate, and do a poetry. And you would melt a cube of sugar over a fancy hole-filled spoon into a absinthe glass.
Huh.
So when you order like if you go drink out absinthe these days and you're not in a fancy place, then usually you will just get absinthe in shot glasses and it will hurt all the way down. I've had fancy absinthe before, and it was an incredible experience because it also does get you just a skosh high.
And
So yeah, she will bring over enough glasses for the dwarves and the rest of you to drink as well. Yeah, she puts down 7 absinthe glasses, a bowl of sugar, and a bunch of hold spoons, along with a candle. So, like, if you want to drink, then you're gonna
sounds a
do it
bit
right.
Too much prep work for Sandra, I'm afraid.
Jonathan will pour
Especially when we start
from
mentioning.
the bottle into each glass, hand them out, and then raise his and say, "Two massive goddamn fuck-ups," and just neck it.
Impressive. Okay. For the rest, there is water that's being warmed by a candle that you can pour over the sugar to melt into it. And yeah, sorry, it's not a candle that melts it. It's you put warmish water over it so that it melts the sugar cube into the drink and dilutes it a bit so you don't get fucking immediately crushed. Wow, Jonathan, you are gonna have a bad day. Okay. That first drink hits you hard, and presumably you go in for more.
After the first one, he's not going to, drink it like shots. He's going to drink it sensibly.
Okay, sure. So you neck the first one and then actually absinthe drink the others. Okay.
Yes.
The dwarves they'll copy you. They'll neck their first servings of it, and then they will also do the same. It's weird seeing these dwarves do the dainty, boring thing, but apparently when it comes to alcohol, they have respect as well for it. Like the bottle disappears in what is essentially 3 rounds of people each, but it's more than enough to get Jonathan Hunter immediately shit trashed, and the rest of you are feeling pretty light on your feet. Can I get a check from Simon if he's joining in?
I will not join in drinking absinthe. College days taught me what that was, and it is not fun.
Okay. Yeah, absinthe is extreme. Yes, it probably hasn't had any alcohol for the past 6 weeks. You're gonna be hanging like the worst.
So I'll just politely hand my glass back over to him and have him have more of it.
Oh god, yeah, death in the afternoon. Absinthe floated on the top of a flute of champagne. That's hard. That is some hard drinking for fancy men. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that sounds really fancy.
Yeah, the dwarves will also, they'll do their own, and once everyone's absinthed up, they will buy pints for anyone who's handling. If Simon says no to absinthe but says yes to pints, they'll buy him pints, because everyone manages pints.
Can that go with Sandra as well? I don't think she would.
Did you do a con?
I don't think. What?
I thought you did a con check to drink hard with them and you got a 17.
I did. That was later on. That was before the absence, though.
Oh, okay. You sticking to pints?
Yeah, I'll probably stick with pints. Or do the... there's a bar game? I know I heard a bunch of people do it. Basically get a pint of beer.
Yep.
And then they get a shot of whiskey, put it on top, and then drink that before the whiskey has time to float all the way to the bottom.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. Yeah, you're able to do that as well instead. The dwarves and Jonathan destroy their way through the absinthe. Does Dirk drink absinthe?
Maybe a pint.
Maybe a pint of absinthe? Okay, if you say so.
Or maybe a shot, I meant, actually.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. You usually wait until the fairy has left the glass and the drink turns white. I don't know enough about drinking absinthe, and I wish I did. I wish I knew more about drinking absinthe and got chances to drink more absinthe. I've just done the sugar melt.
Just wish I knew more about drinking. I don't myself.
It's a good time. I do enjoy me some drinking. Go figure. Impressive. I don't know what that check was for, considering you already super fluffed your con check. But hooray. Oh, okay. Oh, that's what that's for. Not shaming yourself. Good man. Alright, so you don't shame yourself with the dwarves, but you get so fucking shit trashed. It's unreal. On the last serving of the green fairy, the half-elf will also come over and she will join you for a glass of it. Presumably no one stops her from doing so.
No?
Yeah. She does typical barmaidy flirtatious things, like when a dwarf looks at her weirdly, she does the tickle under the chin, which is mostly beard, but you know what it is. Like, she just immediately ingratiates herself in for a drink. And before you know it, it's about 3 a.m. The dwarves are ready to move on to another pub. Which is how they fucking roll. And I assume you guys want to stumble home. Or hotel.
Probably the smartest idea.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yes.
Are you actually able to stumble home? I was gonna say, if you didn't make it, then Dirk would have to probably carry you out.
Sandra would
hell?
probably
That was a wisdom check, Scout. That was to see if Jonathan attempted to follow the dwarves.
Yeah, well, good idea not following. Good idea. You wouldn't be there in the morning. When everyone else got up, I would have to make rolls for you disappearing. There are events for abductions and shit, and I would probably just steal some of the parts out of that because you abducted yourself.
Just finding there was a bunch of dwarves.
Yeah, that's the funnest thing. It's like a character got drunk or drugged and disappeared in the night. What do? You roll an abduction against yourself to see what shit you got yourself into. It's amazing. You're okay. But it's a pretty creative way to go about that, which I've always thought was quite funny. So yes, it's 3 a.m. Simon and Sandra, you're not feeling awesome when you wake up, but you wake up, which is a good start. Dirk, you're feeling pretty fucking good. Also, this might be the finest meal you've had. This is probably the finest meal you've had since you went from the clink to the bar to here.
Damn straight.
So it's a fucking fantastic breakfast. Dr. Jonathan doesn't wake up in the morning. Someone will have to get him.
Even with a 13 on my con roll.
No, you're not. You basically tried to drink a bunch with the dwarves. You rolled under 15. In fact, you rolled under 10.
Ooh, yeah. Looks like Sandra actually got affected.
Yeah, you're gonna have a hard time this morning. You're gonna need extra time in the morning to recover from the drinking.
Do you want a con roll then?
I can't remember how high you rolled when you initially started drinking. I think yours was like weird high, wasn't it?
I have not.
Oh no, you did. You're right. You didn't. Can I have a roll for the night and then the roll for the morning? Because you only drank pints, but you still did a bunch of drinking. And we'll just see what state you were in when you left and how you returned.
Okay. So these are all con rolls, right?
Yep. Yes, please. Fortitude rolls even, I believe. There's its own save.
I never actually did a roll for the morning.
And here's the other one you wanted.
Ah. Okay, so you did not have an easy job drinking. You got through like way worse than Jonathan, but you two are sharing a bed and you're unconscious. You didn't do anything in the night, but you were both in the same bed unconscious. You know, and then like like probably he needed help walking to the bed and you needed help walking to the bed, and then you both are. That's the end of the night. You're both out cold in it.
Is this a con check or a fort save?
It's technically a fort save.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure a con check at this level is the same as a fort save, and then later on it gets harder.
Well, I've got a +1 to fort, as well as the.
Yeah.
Because I'm. So.
Wait a second. Is it a fort save? I mean.
Yeah, it's fortitude. Fortitude is a Constitution saving throw.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fortitude checks their own ones. Sorry, I didn't. Did I not actually say fortitude is a save? Oh, if you then add ones to your results, that's fine.
That's still a 9.
It's still a 9. Yeah, I mean, you woke up not feeling great, but also you weren't as trash in the night, so you need more time in the morning getting ready, but you aren't in a shit condition like them. Dirk, you're great. You had a great you had a great fucking night. You met some dwarves that you actually got along with. You had a bunch of free drinks, and then you went home. You woke up feeling great, and then you had an awesome breakfast. Everything is coming up, Dirk.
It usually does.
Everything comes up, Dirk. So yeah, how do you guys go about it in the morning? Dirk, you are probably the one who notices that you're missing 2 people.
Yeah.
Oh, they're spooning. Who is the big spoon out of Jonathan and Simon?
It's probably Jonathan.
Jonathan is the bigger dude. Yeah. Good stuff. Alright, Dirk, if you check the room, you check Simon's room and he's not there. Weird. You check Jonathan's room and you find that the good doctor is currently hung the fuck to hell, like drooling away, and he's spooning the other man. You didn't know they were lovers. That's weird. You'd have thought the social context would have shown itself at some point during your misadventures, but apparently not until now.
Oh dear.
When you roll them apart, do you hit... Yeah.
Dirk's stupid enough to believe that they're dating too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also it's fine whatever 2 dudes do. That's great. I mean, when Dirk rolls you 2 apart, do you hear? Goodness me. All right then. Dirk will wake you 2 up then. Let's let the sparks fly.
Get up, lovebirds.
What? Where am I? What happened? I remember last night. What?
Simon, a slow, painful look over your shoulder.
Is there another
No,
man on me?
fuck off. I'm innocent. I didn't do it.
Also, Jonathan, something's happening in your stomach. Right now. So you need to do something about it right now. Make a snap decision. You have 5 seconds to decide. 5,
Sorry.
4, 3,
Jonathan will just
2,
pull the top drawer out
1.
and I assume vomit into it.
There you go. You didn't puke on Simon. Good man.
Thank God.
What you did is you ruined a travel Bible.
No real loss there.
Take that,
Well,
take that, travel Christianity. So inferior to normal Christianity.
Oh.
Well, I mean, Jonathan's going to have to clean that out, but
Yes, he is. Yeah.
not as bad as it could have been. At least it's contained.
Yep. Good job.
Now the cleaning ladies have to deal with it.
Just shut the drawer and hope. No one will notice that, right? Gaffer tape it to seal in the stank.
Big question is, whose room were they in?
Jonathan's room.
Oh,
Jonathan's.
of course.
Yep. Okay, well, Dirk has finished interrupting the lovers and leaves them to their hangover. Can...
Jonathan will just look up and say, Duck, what the hell are you doing in my room?
Just making sure you didn't disappear in the night.
Sorry, Duck, were you saying you guy? Simon, why the fuck are you in my bed?
I don't know.
I don't know!
Jonathan will check, but he still has his pants on.
No, you're both naked.
I'm going to go take a shower. Hopefully some memory will come back afterwards.
I don't know. Simon, you don't feel sore in the morning.
Sorry, what now?
You don't feel sore in the morning to evidence that anything of that sort happened. There was no... You don't think you got penetrated.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Sandra might be able to hear that through the walls. Also, Simon, you're pretty sure you didn't get penetrated. Jonathan, you have no idea if you did any penetrating.
Pretty sure you didn't do anything to me. It's no feeling soreness down below the valves.
You know, it was going to be a certain level of awkward no matter what happened. And then you had to say that, and now it's so much worse.
How is it worse? You didn't do anything. Nothing happened to me,
but
hopefully.
nothing happened, but you had to suggest that something might have. Ah.
Alright. It is about this time that... Doug, did you stay in the room while they're having this conversation, actually?
Yeah.
Okay. 1 second then. Oh, that's a weird quint. Okay, Jonathan, your phone is the one that rings. Your his room phone.
Oh.
Jonathan will pick it up and say, Yes, what is it? Now probably isn't a good time. If you've come to arrest me for something, come back in an hour. I need to get dressed.
Whatever you say, princess. See you downstairs.
Oh, it's you.
he's already hung up before he could even know. He just hangs up.
Right. The government fellow from yesterday, he's downstairs. Doug,
Who?
you look fit. Go and say hello.
I'll go
Say
do that.
we'll be an hour at least.
Yeah, I was about to say, can you please roll me a 1d3?
Me?
Simon and Jonathan, 1d3s, please.
Is someone gonna go get Sandra? Just
In this case, Sandra, you take like an extra hour to get ready. Dr. Jonathan takes 3 hours to get ready, and Simon takes 2 hours to get ready because you're that hung. Sandra, you're pretty much okay, so you're able to go downstairs and shit, or whatever
yeah,
after
she's
you've
probably
eaten.
used to getting hangovers from time to time anyway.
Yeah, you bounce. Check the tamper-proof seal on Simon's bum. That might be the best thing I've ever seen in my Twitch chat.
Oh, thank you, Stray.
Stray, A+.
Yeah,
A+.
well played. Don't worry, still pressurized. Excellent. Okay, so Dirk downstairs are the familiar two faces and a dog, a weird dog. You go down there and see them. Sandra, do you go downstairs or do you wait to be actually gathered by someone?
She'll probably go downstairs.
Okay.
Did we actually learn their names?
It's a-
I forget.
They never give you names.
Oh,
No. I'm not.
I would have
expecting
forgotten them
it.
anyway.
So
Yep. Okay then. Yeah. If you head on.
I assume she head down roughly in time with Dirk, or pretty soon.
Yep. Great. When you introduce yourself, you can see that the woman is stood to the side and she's just, petting the dog and sipping from like a mug of coffee that appears to have been brought into the lobby area. And big towery gentleman is just he was in a conversation with the lady at the reception desk, and as Dirk arrives, he'll step away from there, go say hi to Dirk. Yes, is it just you and you see Sandra coming downstairs, and the lady Sandra. I can remember names. I'm great.
Very good at that.
Yeah. Speaking
They'll
of,
be-
yeah, for all intents and purposes, call me black, call her white. You can tell by our hair. In fact, I suppose you should go with gray, but I like to believe in youth.
I like this guy.
Whatever. Yeah.
Where are your other two? He didn't sound at his fucking brightest when I called.
They're
Indisposed.
hungover. They'll be down a little while.
Oh, okay, fair enough. He will look outside, and you can actually see a crowd of dwarves walking down the street, shit-faced.
Who's with
Towards they're probably headed towards another pub, or back from a pub to a pub. Hard to say.
Either way, they're going to.
They're going to and or from a pub.
Great guys, those dwarves.
Yeah, no, I've only drunk with dwarves once. They do sleep. They sleep between drinking. They probably do it at the pub and then move on to the next one. If a dwarf needs to sleep overnight, then he'll pick a drip tray to sleep underneath.
With his mouth open.
Ah. Yeah, I do like the arch. If I stop drinking all at once, I'm afraid the cumulative hangover will kill me. Is possibly how they exist. That's why their fort check is so incredible, actually, is because they're actually always operating as poisoned, and in some cases, there are poisons that can't get you more poisoned. Not all of them, and actually alcohol shouldn't work like that, but I think for dwarves it does. Just like a satyr gets
Why
-2 to all charisma checks if they aren't drunk at the time. Okay, so they will spend some time, basically shooting the shit while waiting for them. Simon, you take a whole other hour to fucking arrive. Do Dirk and Sandra talk about anything while you two wait?
Probably talk about them behind their backs.
No. Oh,
Oh.
shit. Shitting all over
Oh, no.
them. Yeah, take that, Jonathan, take that, Simon. In fact, Dirk's probably like, I didn't know they were lovers.
Simon, I think.
Yeah, didn't know they were lovers.
What? Sandra says, as asking for the hair of the dog.
Oh, he'll. I guess if you ask, because you're in a foyer connected to a morning restaurant thing, you can probably just have them bring you something from behind the bar. They will give you the obligatory. They call it the hair of the dog, and it is just a black coffee with a shot of single malt in it.
Yep. Close enough. Well, there, yeah. What I was hoping for.
Yeah. Everyone loves a shot of whiskey and a black coffee in the morning, right? Can't be alone in that. But yes, it will take time.
Caffeine.
Dirk doesn't believe in caffeine. What does Dirk drink usually besides booze?
Mostly water, otherwise.
I'll be damned. It's like it's hard to get a non-caffeinated beverage in this day and world.
Oh, I know.
Alright, okay. So they will actually try to talk you through some of the shit that you're probably doing. They explain again that there are multiple groups. They make up one of them. They're not one of the large ones, but at the same time, they're always looking for other members, which is why they aren't allowed to try and snipe people while they're doing work in a neutral zone. He looks at you and goes, if you guys did a good job and you were anywhere but here, maybe we'd even ask if you were interested in taking on a little bit of commission stuff. That's usually how we introduce newcomers.
Well, we just took a load off of your shoulders then, didn't we?
Commission. That means money. I'm in.
He pauses, goes, money for service. But right now, we can't. We literally are not allowed to do that. You already have a commission. That's the job you're currently doing as independents from people who aren't us.
Oh, right.
Good, Dirk. Good.
Good stuff. Okay. They will let you know that there are a bunch of them. The suit person that you've seen before was from one of the largest ones, and coincidentally the most tied up in various black markets. If you're looking for like the scrupulous mega corporation kind, then they're as close as it's gonna get. They are not people that you want to piss off. That said, they could be pretty profitable as long as you stay on their good side. Like, but he shrugs and goes, more profitable than us at the very least. But again, you kind of have to
look after their own sort of group. But anyway.
Yes, of course. And then he adds, as for who, the problem is also if they work in single or double cell operatives, they probably just sent the one person because they aren't allowed to be here. He indicates like us too, but usually we work as a double ourselves, and the White does not join in this banter. She just pats the dog and just listens and looks around. If anything, she just reminds you of someone who is waiting for a hunt. Chomping at the bit, as it were. While he's explaining these very basics to you. He basically wants you, it's like, there shouldn't be more of these guys. If more turn up, then that's very bad news for everyone involved. And because it's the kind of thing that does risk a war. And also, one of their agents died. They can't make an official claim about that because they would be admitting they were there. That's, bad fucking news. If either Black or White died while they were out here, they would have to just be sad and deal with it because there's nothing that they have any ability or legal permission to do. They weren't supposed to be there. They aren't there, quote unquote.
So that's some good news. We're not looking for repercussions from them here.
Correct.
Now.
Yeah, I mean, in the future they could, if they blamed you, which they shouldn't, assuming you don't leave massive evidence that you've been here and just fucking made a mess of everything. Long pause, draws out. Well, I mean, good luck anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we don't do that.
Yeah, he goes, as for that operative, you said you guys saw someone's luggage. One of the missing hikers' luggage was rooted through by something with fangs and claws. Your crazy friend said that it was a werewolf as well.
We did not see it. It came in the night, so there's no witnesses. But it definitely had claws. It definitely scratched up the exterior of the package of the luggage.
Yeah, he pauses and goes, "Well, that's fantastic. I guess we."
Werewolfy, but.
That just sounds like fangs and clawsy to me. Trust me, kid, there are so much it could be. Anyway, let's have a think here. We're probably going to go take a look at that, maybe confirm or deny whatever they are, and then we're going to just... Seriously, you shouldn't hang around, but if you really do insist on doing this work, then, well, we'll share and you'll share and we'll get through this, okay? But we weren't here.
Nope. That. Mm-mm.
Alright, fair enough.
I'd make it obvious that like someone would have to like physically hurt me bad asking for me to confirm anything.
Excellent. He seems relatively satisfied with that explanation. They are leaving around the time that Simon will have been recovered enough to come downstairs. They say they're going to go and look into this briefcase themselves, or this suitcase, and see if they can pick up any scents or tracks.
Do you remember the lie that I sort of forgot the exact of the one Jonathan used?
He said you were all Russian spies.
Yeah, I mean the one that he originally used to get in there. That we were like police officers or something like that into missing persons. So just don't use that lie. She will probably see through it. She's already,
okay.
Yeah, she's probably a bit paranoid right now. So don't.
Oh, that's fine. She won't even know we were there.
Good. But there is a woman, and she sleeps near she does have a room near where the luggage is kept.
Alright, fair enough. And yeah, they will head out and disappear as Simon is returning downstairs.
So, what did I miss?
We had a nice conversation with Mr. Black and Miss White.
Who are black and white?
They have no problem. Holy shit. I just rolled 2 consecutive crits. Like, those 2 guys went in to go and inspect the same suitcase that you guys saw before. The first one was getting in. I didn't have their mods in it. So the first one was just barely enough to get in without being noticed. And then the second one was immediately found something useful, got the information they wanted, and then pieced the fuck out again because they double critted consecutively.
Oh shit.
So, I mean, they have all the information that you guys have in and immediately. No, they almost have as much
I
info as you
want
do.
their rolls.
I know, right?
Damn it.
I'm never rolling ever again. Like, I can't do better than that. And if I quit now, then I can quit on top. Fucking
Yeah, I
A.
used up all my good rolls rolling up my character for Cthulhu.
Is he strong as shit?
Oh, he's smart as shit actually, but still.
That means strong as shit in Call of Cthulhu.
I think
True.
he has
It's very true.
one thing that's like slightly below average, and everything else is massively above average. Jesus Christ.
Well, no, I got a couple average things and a whole bunch of above average things.
Good news there. Okay. Yep, in fact, they make it back while Jonathan is just barely coming down. Like, they aren't even gone a fucking hour, really, and before they're returning. And they will inform you that they think it was actually also a werewolf.
I just
So
give
this
him
is
that look.
as
Just like,
Jonathan is coming downstairs, right?
Yes, Jonathan, you'll be able to be coming downstairs right now.
I told you it was probably a werewolf. Thank you. I feel suddenly less fucking stupid.
And
I
racist.
still regret last night, but slightly less stupid about actual deduction. Stupid about my life choices.
Yeah, in fact, she looks up and sniffs and goes, "You smell like vomit and corpse."
I mean,
In fact, you also smell of this man over here.
oh god damn it! And then I thought,
Dirk?
then I thought. the
No,
werewolf
Simon.
told me that sex didn't happen, but now, yeah.
no, that was the cue for Dirk to chime in. Oh, they're dating.
Not dating.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you
Whatever you
don't
say.
listen to the orc.
If you say so. I mean, I am not one to judge myself. I spent a very enjoyable evening with the barmaid on my first night here. It is good times.
And
George,
I'm very glad that you enjoyed yourself. But you presumably knew what you were getting into and were completely shit-faced.
Dirk agrees with that, except with a college student.
It was university,
One
not
up from
college.
everyone else.
If it's college, it could have been underage in the UK. It's probably university students.
Right. Shit. Sorry.
All right, well,
I'm so used to my American.
Someone 17 to 19. Oh goodness, let's roll them dice.
to be fair, that still is basically the same.
Yeah, no. Okay. Good stuff there. Yeah, no. The weird lady seems amused enough, but we'll then let it go. Ooh, that's a strong PC right there. Wow. Okay. She will say that she thinks that it was also a werewolf, but isn't sure that it was the same smell as was on the corpse, which is also a concern.
So then there might be a pack of werewolves around here that are doing this?
So,
It is possible.
okay. Quick check. The whole story about being a werewolf being transmissible by bites, is that true?
She pauses, and then just smiles and shrugs. You could try and sense motive. You could try and sense motive it out of her, but she's being on purpose coy.
I have sense motive. Come on. +4 actually work. Yes. Fuck you, bitch.
You suspect it's actually true, yes, werewolf bites transmit the curse. But she doesn't confirm it out loud. You have reason to believe it's true, though.
Fuck you, bitch.
Nice try, sense motive, nice try. Your Sandra's like, yeah, maybe.
Okay, so it.
I
Given
believe
the fact that they were able to get into the case, and you agree with these two. I'll point at Simon and Sandra, but it looked like there was rooting around done inside the case.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
supposedly done rooting around.
The smell inside the case was very, let's not say it was very mixed up.
Well, yes, that's because these two rooted around inside the case. So
No, it was more down to the bottle of expensive oil. But, whatever. In fact, that might actually have been the intent. To throw off
Yeah.
any scent trails. But there is some measure of it on the loss that were
So it's
distinctly of my kind.
So it would be possible that another of your kind could tell that you were here and did that to try to throw you off.
I have only been here for... it would have been for 5 days, and I am not staying local. I am worried if they know that I am here.
Maybe
Well-
it's just to be safe sort of action.
Perhaps.
This is more likely. If they themselves are a werewolf, then they would know that scent is a very obvious tracking mechanism. And right now we had an unfortunate bout of rain. It came out of nowhere, in fact. That has damaged some of my odds of tracking them by scent. So it may very well be. She sighs reluctantly and then elbows
Okay.
the man who
Can a
identifies himself as
druid-
black.
Can a druid change weather patterns?
She pauses. Black goes, well, first of all, I think she was about to suggest we take you on. Second of all, that's fucking crazy.
No, it isn't. A druid can do magic. Let's be honest here.
Okay,
If you can
I
do
will.
magic, it's entirely possible that it's an entirely reasonable question. Okay. We
Okay,
agree.
alright, you're right. Yes, of course, yes. I forget you're Greenhood, you don't know. It isn't. They technically do magic, but I'm not here to give you the 101. Let's just say that if anyone were to change the weather, then you're looking at, like, higher earth elemental / almost fairy god kind of levels of affect the surroundings. And in a neutral zone, that's as good as saying, I would like to be completely wiped out by some kind of terrifying archmage.
Right, so beyond our
Okay.
level. Gotcha. Go on with your explanation, please.
That's good. I just want to check because I'm I'm in my early 30s. I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons. Someone calls themselves a druid. I've got preconceptions.
Fair enough. Anyway,
That they're hippies.
possibly. I mean,
Yes, but they're hippies
frankly,
that
these
also
days,
have the power to, transform into fucking bears. Especially
Anyway.
if they're shadow kind druids.
it's rare to get a shadow kind as a. You know what? No, we're getting off track. What we would like to do is offer you an opportunity because we aren't supposed to be here, as we've repeated. We can't bring in more of our people to go looking around. That would make us very fucking obvious, and it's the kind of thing that if, for instance, the Syndicate said, hey, look, these guys are walking around on your turf looking for Shadowkind, then we get in trouble. You guys are independents. I say we split the work, because there's a lot of ground to cover. We find out what is going on with this Shadowkind. And then, if it's something that a bunch of greenhorns can handle, then I guess we'll have to just back out. But if it isn't, we'll be taking credit.
That's fine with me.
That sounds like a pretty.
Pretty much what I suggested yesterday. So.
Yeah, well, we've had to come to certain realizations after realizing that we've lost almost all of our leads and it's going to just come down to checking fucking everywhere in that stupid park.
Do you have today's weather forecast?
That's a good question. Tell you what, why don't you roll that dice, since you're the one who asked?
I'll do it again. I need to redeem myself.
No, I don't know. I think
no.
it's got to be down to the one who asked. A 10. It is. Let's check here. It is windy, but it's okay. In autumn weather, it's just generally kind of shitty and autumny. It's still, again, the unusual, slightly warmer than it should be. Though the wind chill itself is not very pleasant. It could mean that there's going to be worse weather later on. But right now, you should be fine.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good news, at least. Thank you.
Yeah.
Then, in that case, you guys, we've got two choices. We can do the sensible thing and search as a foursome, or we can split off into pairs, be fucking stupid, but probably find the thing faster.
Well, when you put it like that, we should probably stay together.
Thank you.
So weighted.
I feel like your assessment was biased considering I'm working in a two-man cell, but fair enough.
To be fair, you're considerably more
starting
experienced
in a
than
two-man
us.
cell.
You're
We
much
have
more
the option of
experienced.
coming as a four.
Also, you're a. I assume that dog looks like it could handle itself in a fight, if only to draw attention.
Hunter is strong girl.
That's what I thought. But I digress.
Yeah, alright. They will offer use of their jeep to return, and you'll be able to, instead of, arrive in the noon going into early evening, you'll be able to spend the entire day there.
Yeah?
That sounds.
Yeah, that
that
sounds
sounds-
very kind of them,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well, it's no longer just a fucking every man for themselves. It's in their best interest that you also arrive at the same time as them to go looking around. Oh yeah, Hunter is fine. Hunter is not. Good shit. All right then. I believe we've been doing this for like 3 and a bit hours. So
2.5 of the main thing.
2.5 of the main one,
extra
okay.
hour or so with the thing with you and Danny.
okay then, we will continue into the park and figure out the directions that you're going to go in, and then I believe that'll be a good point to call it. And I will also do. Oh, you're right there. Breathe in your water. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yes, we will get you to the location, figure out in what directions and shit you'll be doing, what your general game plan is. And then I guess we'll call it the end of the session after we've got that all figured out. What's over to there? Ah, you inhaled your wine. Always bad news. And yeah, I will prepare encounters and stuff. And I say encounters plural, so look the fuck out.
Oh dear.
Yay!
I know, right?
That's
So, I will pull them over into your space. Yep. They do the familiar drive, but as opposed to head up to the popular camping spot, they will stop early so that you don't have to scale a cliff down to get to the lower area where the bogs are. And they stop at this fork. And they will indicate that there is the lake body itself at the center. From the sounds of it, that's not where the culprit's going to be, but it's always worth checking. There is a number of forested area to the east. There is forests hugging cliffs, there are bogs, and there are fields. Oh, I'll make a little list and I'll even write it down in stuff. 1 second. Where's my... There it is. And we'll do it in red. Good old bright red. So, locations. Lake. Shores. Cliff. Cliff forest. Bog. Bog forest. Plains. From this point, they will make it clear that they have different specialties. For one, the black makes known that he is mostly the muscle. He is a sharpshooter, and white is most certainly a tracker. At this point, though, scent is not something that she'll be able to use until she finds someone. She says that, you know, since you're the inexperienced greenhorns, you should probably decide yourselves which, you know, like, areas are more suited to you, because it would, you know, obviously benefit you. They don't want to just be like, you go that way, and then just fucking you end up getting killed. They say that's not generally their goal right now.
So what I've generally figured out is that a lot of you aren't very perceptive.
Pretty much.
Yep.
So, given that I'm the only one with anything in spot, and I cannot roll for the life of me, we probably shouldn't be going into either of these / forest places, because then we'll actually have to roll spot.
I think we're gonna have to roll spot regardless.
Yeah, but
they
something will have an
they'll-
easier job hiding behind some trees than hiding in a bog.
Though I am much more worried about like certain skill checks, like for cliffs, climb.
Okay, fuck that. I'm not. I have like
I will
a.
probably die if we do cliffs. If like we have single.
I have a
check
-3 to climb, so no climbing.
there. Yeah,
Okay,
none of that.
Alright, so what I'm hearing definitely is that cliff forest is a no.
And also probably just cliff. Is a
Okay.
no.
Yeah, no cliff.
Alrighty.
Though I am very curious about the bog, though the bogs.
Okay.
I'm thinking if something was going to do something involving people going missing or hiding out, bogs would be the place to do it.
Okay.
Probably reasonable.
Alright then.
That sounds.
Mark under those. That's fine. They say that they
Well,
will check the cliff and cliff forest. That's fine.
The lake and the lake shore, they're both down the cliff with the bog and bog / forest, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Like the lake and shores are very central, so it's not hard to get to it from any of the other search locations except for plains.
Well, it wouldn't be hard for people who, have the capability of climbing.
Yeah, if you can immediately scale the cliff to the plains, that works out for you. Or if you go from the from the downside of the plains towards the bogs and the forests. Like, don't take this map as a literal. It's just the general, like, the look of this place in summer, which is very nice and peaceful and shit. Right now, it's autumn. It's windy.
Yeah.
It rained yesterday, so it's gonna be marshy fucking everywhere in the forest, in the plains, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's just all gonna be horrible.
So, really, we should probably take the bottom of the cliff. They should take the top of the cliff.
Okay then.
Because,
Sounds good to me.
And if they don't find anything at the top of the cliff and in the cliff forest, they can head down to the lake shores as well. And
Okay.
we'll
Right.
probably be in range of hearing each other if gunshots travel an alarming distance.
They
None of
do.
us have suppressors as
It
far
is
as I'm aware.
also his SMG did have a suppressor on it, but he says he can take that off. He warns you that if the wind picks up too much and someone is above and the firing is coming from below, that won't travel. That won't travel for shit.
Well,
But
we'll
if
just
you're on the
have to
same
hope that
level-
that's the case.
Yes. He also goes, also, you know, kid, most of us have phones.
Yeah, we could. Well, most except for one individual.
Does everyone look at Jonathan at once?
Yeah.
Jonathan will raise his phone. It's it's very obvious that it doesn't work anymore, but he will just raise it. Look, mine exists. Just
Wait,
doesn't
didn't
work. Okay.
Didn't we get a burn phone last night?
We did.
You could have charged that up, but someone was too shit-faced to do that.
That is
That as
true.
well.
I would have allowed you to retcon it if Simon, the one who did it, didn't end up hungover this morning. Yeah, I would have absolutely allowed a retcon if he'd been sober enough to do it in the first place. Okay, so it seems like a
Okay.
good game plan to me. Is that they are happy to do lake shores, cliffs, and forest, and you guys get bog forest and the attached plains.
Okay.
And also, just the bottom of any adjoining cliffs you can probably take a look at while you're in the lower levels.
Yeah.
He warns you that it is entirely likely that there is some kind of werewolf around that isn't white. There is possibly another agency. And also there is still the unknown shadow kind. Still.
Okay, to be clear, what does what exactly does White look like? Does she keep her white hair when she's a werewolf?
She sighs and goes, yes, that I suppose is a good question. I will try and avoid doing any turning because I would hate to get shot for looking like one of my kind.
Yes.
My hair is predominantly white.
Okay, so, all right, good. So if we see if something goes horribly wrong, don't shoot the white werewolf until proven otherwise.
That is probably a good guess. Also, if you happen to see a white werewolf along with Hunter and that werewolf is not being bitten, it is also probably me.
That goes a good point. Also, smart thing to look for, but
Correct. But yes, again, there are any number of difficulties and dangers. Frankly, you shouldn't trust anyone, including ourselves, but it seems that we've already completely ruined that one.
yeah, you sort of spoiled us there.
Yes, it seems that we
don't
are...
really trust you. It's just that you know where we live. You held us at SMG point. You didn't kill us. That's probably the best we can get in this business, isn't it?
For an independent, remaining unbullet penetrated is always a good thing.
Yes.
Considering the syndicate may be about, and they know they are missing an agent, consider that they might very well be hostile.
Well,
Yes.
And
yes,
also,
thank you.
they are very dangerous, not just in technology, but most of them are magicians, at least of layer person level.
That's
magician of layperson level. Sorry. Is
Ah.
that what you just said?
Yes, layperson, of course, amongst the magical kind. Even for
So not like, pick a card sort of magic. Okay.
No, although it would be some of their more simple feats would make most street magicians look as though they were doing the same tricks but actual magic. Like the disappearing card is actually a disappeared card. She sighs and goes, "You should have someone frankly teach you more about the magic. It is not any of our specialties in actually using."
Well, maybe if we survive this, that damn druid will actually be of some use.
Yeah, druids are not the same in magic, but they will be able to teach some modicum, and I'm sure they will do so for cash.
At the very least, he might be able to point us in the right direction. Not just send us into a shit show like this.
Yes, fair enough. Personally, I think that getting any independence involved is always the shit show.
Oh, I do
Yeah.
hope that you're wrong.
Yeah,
Mostly
okay.
because, if you're not, I'll have to move somewhere that I can get hired by an agency or a syndicate or whatever. And moving is expensive.
also sounds
Can
incredibly
confirm.
dangerous.
Oh yes, absolutely dangerous. And then she shrugs and will depart quite happily. They will head towards the cliffs area, and they leave you to trek down to the south. And I believe that is a good place to end the session. And it gives me time to do a little bit of prep before Friday, next Friday even.
Yay.
Thank you, Stray, for coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, there were like
thank
4
you,
or 5 others.
everyone else that's been in the audience, and you haven't been talking, but you've been here.
Yeah,
We
that
have
weird lady
at
is
least
actually
3
French Russian,
people.
which is why I found it so fucking funny that your lie was Russian Secret Service. Yeah, I'm not even fucking kidding. And it also gave me freedom to float between the accents because I'm terrible at both.
I was wondering why it
That ga-
switched from Russian to French halfway through.
Yeah,
And then back again.
yeah, literally because I know that I am terrible at accents and I do wandering accent. Her being French Russian worked perfectly because I'm also not very good at female voices. As much as I wish I were, I'm not very good at female voices. Because that would be
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
I'm better than I think I am than I think.
Great.
I have in my range quite a few accents, but the entirety of one female voice. So,
Well, fair enough.
female foreign. You have my deepest respect for managing as well as you did.
Fair enough.
You
All
did
right.
good.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And I will quickly close that stream. Thank you very much for watching stream. And if you're watching the VOD, thank you very much for watching VOD. For once, it's not broken up into 3 fucking pieces.
Yes.
Hopefully.
I assume.
Presumably.